Ladies and gentlemen, please come in, have a seat. Welcome to session number 2. This is the first of our parallel afternoon sessions. And this session has the title, From the Lab to the Workbench, Spin-offs and Startups. Our speakers, panelists, and the chair are already sitting on stage. And please allow me shortly to introduce our chair for this session. Dr. Jong-Guk Song is president of the Science and Technology Policy Institute, STEPI. Dr. Song holds a BA and MA in economics from Sogang University and a PhD also in economics from Texas A&M University. Dr. Song, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Jong-Guk Song, as introduced. I think the first job of chair's mission is keep this session's schedule on time. So I will try to do my best. To do that, I think from now on, I will speak in Korean because we have very excellent simultaneous interpreter here. So a lot of most of audience is from Korean side. Sorry about that. Okay. 자, 그러면 제가 지금부터 사회를 진행을 하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 저희 세션의 팀 주제는 결국은 스타트업 혹은 스핀오프, 대학의 리서치 랩에서부터 또 어떻게 기업을 만드느냐라는 주제로, 아마 이 주제는 지금 우리 박근혜 정부에서 가장 핵심적인 국정 아젠다로 추진하고 있는 창조경제와 창조경제의 구현과 가장 연관이 있는 주제이고, 또한 독일에서도 이 부분에 대한 관심이 굉장히 높은 분야라고 생각합니다. 그래서 오늘 이 주제의 발제자를 3분을 모셨고요. 그리고 토론을 위해서 토론자 2분을 모셨습니다. 그래서 시간 편의상 제가 먼저 발제자 3분에 대한 간략한 양력과 소개를 드리고, 그 다음에 이제 첫 번째 발제자부터 발표를 15분씩 아마 시간이 할당이 되어 있으니까 우리 발제자들께서 시간을 잘 지켜주시리라 믿고 15분씩 드리겠습니다. 그리고 15분의 발제가 끝나면은 나중에 패널 디스커션을 하고, 디스커션이 끝난 후에 플로어로 마이크를 넘겨서 우리 참여자분들에게 의견을 듣는 기회를 갖도록 하겠습니다. 우선 간략하게 제가 3분의 발표자의 양력을 먼저 소개해 드리겠습니다. 먼저 발표하실 베를린 기술대학의 총장으로 계시는 우리 크리스티안 톰센 총장님, 우선 박수로 좀 환영해 주시죠. 크리스티안 톰센 총장님은 아주 정말 이 학계뿐만 아니라 세계적으로 아주 고체 물리학 분야, 또 교육 시스템 분야에서 굉장히 유명한 분이십니다. 그래서 총장 되시기 전에는 그 자연과학대 딘도 하셨고요. 그 다음에 여러 가지 그 학교의 부총장을 비롯한 커리어를 쌓아 오셨고요. 또 그 다음에 고체 물리학 연구소라는 데서 아마 그 체어도 하셨고요. 고등교육원에서 또 헤드도 하셨고요. 등등 아주 다양한 우리 경력을 가지고 계시고요. 그리고 저서도 있고, 또 지금 현재 한 500여 개의 그 과학기술계 아마 퍼블리케이션을 가지고 있는 몇 개의 그 오가나이저인데 연간 매년 발간하는 아마 잡지에 그 오가나이저로 되어 있는데요. 이게 International Winter School on the Electronic Properties of Novel Materials. 아마 정확하게 제가 한글로 번역하기가 좀 힘든데 아마 인터프리터가 아주 잘 번역했으리라고 생각합니다. 그 다음에 이제 발제자를 제가 소개를 해드리는데요. 우리 김은경 교수님은 김은경 교수님한테 박수 한번 쳐주시죠. 김은경 교수님은 지금 현재 연대에서 교수님으로 계시고요. 미국 그 휴스턴 대학에서 화학을 전공하셔서 화학 박사학위를 받으셨습니다. 뭐 김은경 교수님도 저는 오래전부터 알고 계시지만은 굉장히 많은 이 과학기술 분야에 그 활동을 하고 계시고 여러 논문들도 많이 내고 계십니다. 특히 우리 그 유기화학 분야인가요? 이게 제가 이쪽으로는 좀 전문성이 부족해서 functional polymers라든가 이 안에는 chromogenic polymers 를 포함한 이런 여러 가지 그 organic molecular 쪽의 연구를 집중적으로 해오신 것 같습니다. 그래서 우리 김은경 교수님을 소개해드렸고요. 그 다음에는 아마 우리 마지막으로 아주 독특한 커리어를 가지신 분이신데요. 우리 문규혁 소프트뱅크 토론으로 되어 있으시죠? 죄송합니다. 남학현 가운데 교수님을 소개해드리겠습니다. 박수로 맞이해주십시오. 우리 남 교수님은 굉장히 독특한 커리어를 가지고 계시고요. 대학에 계시면서도 창업을 하신 정말 오늘 우리가 이 세션의 주제 발표자로서 아주 적절한 분이 아닌가 이렇게 생각합니다. 그래서 아이센스의 CTO로도 계시고요. 아이센스가 아마 혈당 관련된 측정을 하는 기술인 것 같습니다. 이걸로 이제 창업도 하시고 해가지고 오늘 그 창업의 경험과 관련돼서 아마 여러분들께 좋은 발표를 해 주실 거라고 믿습니다. 남 교수님은 그 서울대를 졸업하시고요. 아마 이걸 물리화학이라 그러죠. 물리화학 분야에 아마 박사학위를 받으셨고요. 그 미시간 스테이트에서 이제 박사학위를 받으셨는데요. 하여간 가운데에서 연구도 하시면서 이걸 어떻게 직접 많은 사람들에게 혜택이 되는 이 연구 결과가 혜택이 되는 방안이 없느냐를 고민을 많이 하신 것 같습니다. 그래서 아이센스를 창업을 하신 것 같습니다. 그래서 오늘 이 귀중한 세 분을 발제자로 모시고요. 우리 토론자분들은 나중 토론 세션에서 함께 제가 소개를 해드리기로 하겠습니다. 그럼 먼저 오늘 첫 번째 주제 발표자로 크리스티안 탐센 총장님을 모시고 발표를 듣는데요. 발표 제목은 From the Lab to the Workbench: Startups and Spin-offs에 관한 베를린 기술대학에서의 그 경험을 아마 여러분들께 소개를 해드릴 걸로 믿습니다. Floor is yours.
So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the invitation and giving me the chance to present some of the incubator, some of the catalysis work that we do at TU Berlin in order to further creativity and to further startups in Berlin. Berlin has a long tradition as a startup city. And I'll describe a little bit the environment. You know, Berlin, because of its historical, events, has not much industry. So a lot of the industry, except for perhaps Siemens Corporation, moved to West Germany during the times of the Cold War. And after unification, which is by now, I guess, 25 years ago, so it's quite some time, but still, large industry did not move back to Berlin, which it could have. But the infrastructure in West Germany was set up, and so big industry is not really present in Berlin. So having said that, the question is, what should Berlin do in order to be economically a strong city and in order to further? And Berlin is two things. It's a startup capital in Germany. It has the most startups. I'll come a little bit more to that in a moment, for one. And it also is a strong, or the strongest, science city in Germany. So it has concentrated on education, on creating ideas, and on connecting these ideas, on putting these ideas from academia into startup business. It's an attractive city. It has 11 universities altogether. It has an outstanding infrastructure and a very international talent pool. Our university has about 20% foreign students, lots of them from Asia, but also from other countries in Europe. There are many entrepreneurs. We have business accelerators, and it is an upcoming startup community. You know, when young people like to live in exciting cities, like, for example, Seoul, and they like to have a nightlife, or at least the potential for a nightlife, and they need an environment where they can interact, where they can be free, where they can have a good time in order to be creative. And I've understood that creativity is different from performance, or different from knowledge acquiring. Creativity is when you all of a sudden have an idea, why don't we try this? We've heard some about these creativity aspects this morning in other talks. So Berlin is full of creative people, people in science, but also in arts, in social sciences. So it's a lively city that finds all kinds of intellectual stimulations for young people. In particular, our university, I'll just have one slide about the university. We have 31,000 students. Altogether, there may be 120,000 students in Berlin. So 31,000 at TU Berlin. There are 330 full professors, 2,600 a little more research scientists, and we're located right in the center of Berlin, in the center of what formerly was West Berlin, and now still in the center of Berlin. We have many years of technology transfer, also for historical reasons, as I explained in the beginning. We've had over the last 30 years about 800 technology-centered oriented spin-offs and companies. We made a survey for the year 2011. There were 350 companies that basically came out of TU Berlin, which in total had a turnover of over 1 billion euros, with altogether 16,000 employees. That is accumulated over the 30 years, measured in 2011. We were, this activity, the founding activity is recognized. We were considered, or we have a status of Gründer Hochschule, which in English could be translated as a founding university by the Federal Ministry of Economics and Energy. So the question is how to get creativity on a student or on a work group or professor's level into a startup company. And it's certainly not a process that just happens on its own, at least very infrequently. Sometimes you have these situations. But what we have founded here is a center of entrepreneurship, which is like a point of catalysis for startups. It's divided. It has three main tasks. That is, they have their own research. There are about 15 PhD students together with a professor working in the field of entrepreneurship. There are several training programs. We have master's programs on innovation management and entrepreneurship. And the third block on the right is the advice and support that we give to young people that want to translate their idea into a company. There's lots of networks. I'll just mention a couple of one. These two down here is the European Institute of Technology labs on communication technology and on climate. These are networks that extend all over Europe. They're funded by the European Community, and they allow us to contact people and ideas in other states, in other universities in Europe. So what we do is, in the Center for Entrepreneurship, for one, we look for these ideas. You know, there are many researchers and students that have some ideas, but they don't think of really translating their ideas into a company. So we actively go to the professors and ask them, is there any student that had a good idea in the past, and why don't you send them to us? And we'll give them some inspiration, maybe how to fund a company, how to start a company. We'll give you advice and support. We have training for you, and we can also publish with you. This is one example. Person on the right here, he has developed a ceramic filter, which is better than available ceramic filters, especially for water treatment. He has invented a cheap idea and is potentially very successful, one of the startups from our university. We have what's called an Inspiration Startup Day. We invite investors that come to the university, and there's a big audience, maybe 500 to 1,000 people, and we give the young startup companies the chance to present their ideas in a short time, and to convince investors, something like a speed dating, and to convince investors to invest into our startups. The qualification classes that we offer go into teaching young investors into business models. You know, the ideas, even a good idea about a company has to be translated into a business model, and usually students that are, let's say, in computer science and have some idea for a new app are not professionals in business. And so we teach them in regular classes as to how, if you want to start a company, what you should look for, how your business model could look like. So we do training, and we actively push the people in the startup business to be professional about their ideas, about their financial doings when they start up a company. So in order to show you what we've done in the past, we give stipends for young teams that want to start with an idea. To give you an example, this is a program called Exist by the Federal Ministry. We funded in 2012 8 teams that started up. In 2013, 13 teams. And on average, we gave each of these teams over 100,000 euros for 1 year to support their ideas. The example here on this picture is a young person who developed a novel method for efficiently and automatically joining the parts needed for a windmill. You know, Germany is looking for other sources of energy since they turned off their nuclear power plants, and windmill is one of the big is one of the big energy generating elements, and in order to automatically fabricate and build these windmills, this is an entrepreneurship idea of these young persons here. We provide also space for the teams. That's one of the important issues. I mean, if the university is crowded with 31,000 students and really not enough room to give everybody their space to give a startup idea, we have special areas where you can have a small room together with a workbench and a machine shop if you need, where you can have space and work for 1 year within the university, supported by the Center for Entrepreneurship, and supported also just in space. So we give you a space that you can work and also interact with other startup companies that may be nearby or sitting next door to you. You can exchange some ideas. The Startup Propeller is a program. It's a business program. If you have a startup company, if you're about to found one, then you can come and you can be pushed and systematically develop alternative business models for your company. We'll tell you what possibilities you have and to actually become successful with your company. And the target group are existing teams with business ideas, so you have to be a little bit further. You have to be sort of all set, close to a product. And we incorporate experts also from industry and from other successful startup companies to show and to explain to you how you best put forward your idea. There are many positive responses from this program. Another important aspect for startup companies, of course, is how to get access to money. And we do have from our networks, international networks, many possibilities to invite investors to come and to explain to investors this is a good business idea. And investors come regularly to TU Berlin and look for what is the current year's program, what are the companies that we might invest in. So we give you a contact to industry or to other investors. Big companies like Nokia or Telecom or Siemens come on a regular basis to find and identify potentially successful startup companies. In 2012, more than 20 of our startup companies got significant capital, and it's mentioned here a few names of the startup companies, which I will not go into detail to. One of the startups is Panomo. This is this round green camera. It's a 360-degree camera, and it's not to be mistaken with the soccer ball from the World Championship that our Chancellor Merkel has in her hand now. It's one of the successful startup companies. They raised close to $1 million by now by crowdfunding. We do have also an internet page where you can look and see for your needs. I'll skip that. And just summarize with a few numbers. Since 2008, we supported close to 70 startup companies. And we did this by contacting many of the research groups at the university. So we contacted about 270 research groups, asking them, why don't you identify a student within your group that may be willing to go into the endeavor and go into the risk of funding of starting a found a company. We have 600 students that came throughout the years into summer schools, learning about business models, about entrepreneurship. We have advised about 1,000 people in the last 5 years in technical issues about startup companies. We've raised over $1 million, which for German standards is fairly high. I suppose for Korean standards or even American standards is not very high. But there is not so much in Germany, so far at least, a culture of funding or of investing in young companies. Currently, there are about 17 PhD projects, I mentioned that, and about 20 successful startups that received financing since 2012. I mentioned a couple of them. Panomo, that's the 360-degree camera that you just saw a picture of. It came out of electrical engineering. Other startups are CarZap, for example. It's an app that supports private car sharing. It comes out of engineering and transportation departments. Then there's Komoot, which is a leisure time navigation out of mechanical engineering. It's a combination actually of computer science, physics, and sociology department. Actually an important aspect that sociology plays also a role. It's not just the engineering or computer science people, but it's also a question of how to interact with society, where sociologists can be quite helpful. Two other companies, one is Acclamio, which is incentive-based commendation marketing and started from computer science, and Kringle, which is actually when German students go out for dinner, the tradition is that everybody pays their own part. I don't know how it is in Korea, but that's how it is in Germany. And there's a practical question that the waiter in the restaurant really doesn't like it because he has to change 5 times or 10 times if they go together. This Kringle idea is a person-to-person payment project. That means one guy pays, and automatically from the app that the others have on their smartphones, they pay their part back to the one guy who pays the dinner bill. That's Kringle, another startup company. And with that, I'll come to the end, and thank you very much for your attention.
네, 아주 독일의 테크니컬 유니버시티에서 어떻게 스타트업을 지원하고 어떤 형태로 지원이 되고 있는지에 대한 현황을 아주 잘 설명을 해 주신 것 같습니다. 우리 다시 한번 크리스찬 톰센 총장님께 박수를 부탁드립니다. 네, 다음 발제를 해 주실 김은경 교수님은 먼저 좀 양해를 드려야 되는데 다른 또 파트에 발표가 있으신 것 같아요. 그래서 여기 발표를 끝내고 바로 아마 가셔야 되니까 혹시 나중에 디스커션 세션에서 질문이 있으신 분은 사회자나 아니면은 뭐 하여간 좀 메모를 해서 주시면은 따로 김은경 교수님께 전달을 해 드리겠습니다. 그래서 우리 하여간 이번 세션에 발표하실 김은경 교수님의 타이틀은 On Interface Between Scientific Excellence and Commercialization. 과학적인 어떤 그 결과와 또 이걸 commercialization, 사업화하기 위한 그 사이에서의 어떤 아마 김 교수님이 뭐 20여 건 넘는 그런 또 이런 사업화 관련된 테크놀로지컬 디벨롭먼트도 하시고 또 뭐 지금 현재는 연대 연구처장도 하시고 계시기 때문에 우리나라의 그 아주 명문 연대에서 일어나고 있는 창업 관련된 부분에 대해서 잘 소개를 해 주시리라 믿습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시죠.
Well, thank you for this nice introduction. Well, I'm sorry for that. I have to leave quite soon after my talk, but I have email address here. So if you have any question, you can just write me up. So I'll be happy to answer whatever the question is there. This is a kind of introduction for what is the importance of this research activity in the university. Of course, it will be a great source for the promote fundamental and applied science and technology, and that will be a great source for this high-level education. And moreover, to contributing to the society, it will be a great moment to fulfill our social responsibility, namely welfare and sustainable society. In Yonsei University, having about 1,500 faculties, we have about like 1,500 papers at least, and annually, and we have about patent about 500 per year. So with such kind of high numbers of scientific production and also some efforts for this technological transfer, it should be easy to get commercialization process. But as you already heard from this morning that there are a lot of gaps, and I don't want to call it as a death valley, a valley of death, but I would like to see that it could be a kind of opportunity Beijing if we can activate this interface or narrow these gaps. So in a university, of course, we have a lot of forces, namely very smart students and very active researchers, and we have multidisciplines in university. And for the future, we need to get all these disciplines together to have a creative technology, namely innovation. Once we found that there's very tightly connected researches, even with, of course, you can just imagine that there should be large collaboration between College of Science and Engineering, and also there could be large, collaboration with the College of Medicines. But I'm sorry about this, Korean word. I didn't have chance to translate it in English, but, you just see that even music school, or even some law school, they have a strong connection for this research activity. And I guess in the future, such kind of a wide convergence from all different disciplines should be a real asset for these technologies. So having such kind of search, we found that for the future, we need to gather all together. As you see that, all this nice technology could come from very fundamental way of a formulation, namely problem identification and idea generation. Traditionally, it has to be kind of individual efforts. But for the future, it's got to be group creation and group idea, and that has to be tested among the people. So in our university, we just decided to get people together to support for this communication between all different disciplines, and also would like to have a mutual understanding among the researchers. So what we developed there, established the kind of institute for convergence. And as you know, Yonsei University has 3 campuses, one in Wonju, the other one is Songdo, namely it is for the international college, right? And also we have medical school. So we have all variety in discipline, and it's kind of scattered. So our university tried to make them converge into one kind of centers, and also this gotta be generated from each people, namely individuals, and make them kind of a grouping so that we generate about 50 different centers. And this is just bottom up, we're not planning any kind of top down. So this is really based on freely discussion among the researchers. So one of the examples, let's say this is Center for Coexistence and Cooperation, that should facilitate the scientific technology too. So we have such a very interesting centers, and they all, of course, take care of all very fancy topics, as we know, like Internet of Things, even Internet of You or Internet of We, or big data and brain chemistry or brain science toward the product and technology. And I guess this will be a kind of a set for this technological transfer or commercialization. But with such kind of discussions, we found that it is really indeed needed for some risk experiment to be done, namely proposals should be refined before we go outside for the outside project. So our president of university, Jung Ga-byung, collected all the scratches out of limited budget to fund the university people to get some kind of nice proposals. So we have several kinds of programs to support the university professors, namely leader program or challenge program, or as a leading university, we need to take care of social problems. So this is based on social solving convergence research, and this is originated from icons I just introduced before. And also we are aware of this international collaboration, so we would like to at least support for this international collaboration research. And one more thing is the university industry collaboration research. So this is out of university fund, so it's not going to be large, but at least it will speed up the technological transfer from university to outside. Still, we know that there's a problem between this scientific excellence and commercialization. So in university, we have to make some kind of systematic approach, not just leave all these problems to university professors, because they are already very busy and they have all problems they have to have. So as a systematic way, we established University Industry Foundation about 10 years ago. And also about 3 years ago, we established University Technology Holdings. There we try to interface such kind of problems, like financial problems, or if there is any issue on technological transfer, like legal problems or financial problems, we try to help them to solve such kind of problems as a systematic way. So overall, we have about 6,700 patents, and annually we are getting a lot of research activities. So how do we handle all this nice technology into commercialization? Out of such kind of Institute of Convergence Technology and also university program, there should be real help from the university. So from this university technology holding, we get some kind of help for the people. So we have some department for technology discovery, and we just try to select among these 6,700 technology, we try to select most probable or promising technology. And then we just send to them a technology evaluation and patent management. And we establish a marketing strategy so that we can have either technology licensing or startups. Of course, many technology has been already transferred to namely top 10 companies. I don't want to name on that. But also, it will be a large flux to activate middle-sized companies. And one of these examples shows that some of these materials are already in the market. And recently, we have also some nice product like self-calibrating parallel MRI or micro needles for drug delivery and all the others like window cleaning robots and so on. So those are out of such an effort from university, also the governmental support for this kind of activity. And we have around 11 startups on this Yonsei University Technology Holdings since 2011. It's only 3 years old, so it's pretty much, very early stage to say anything out of it. But even within these three years, we are kind of successfully established these companies, and we found that there should be some kind of a systematic way to support all this. And one of the successful examples from the startups would be Rapas. The basic idea, basic technology comes from Professor Chang, who developed this biodegradable microneedle. Of course, it was patented first, and then it was published in very nice, papers. And it's been just adopted to this company to have this needles for cosmetics or even medical devices, and it's kind of expanding. Although this has been only 3 years, the sales are now explosively increasing, so we are trying to get more fund or more help for this company. And there are other technology in pipeline, so as you see, these are already in market, and these are kind of prototype stage or just R&D stage. Among those, I would like to mention some of this technology, let's say mobile security on the prototype and cloaking method based on metamaterial, and conducting polymer technology are quite activated nowadays, and animation tool or magnetic hypothermia or optical imaging are on the stage of prototype. So this could be further, with this further help, we could have some chance for commercialization. Of course, there are active research, so this is not all. I will just mention about just 1 or 2 examples for collaboration, because between just Germany and Korea, there are many chances to collaborate either in university level or government level. One of the interesting ideas is for the wearable energy harvester. By the way, in this case, it's we are using our energy from human being, not from solar or not from wind. We can, sometimes, particularly when you are in emergency, you may have to rely on by yourself. So then we can harvest the heat from our body, or we can harvest from our movement. So this is one thing we are working very hard. So there we have thermoelectric generator, or in some case, we need to have interface circuit with high efficiently low power consumption, because the energy what we are having from this kind of human being would be very low. So there should be a technology to handle on such a low power energies. Otherwise, we can have a healing meter and multi-core processor and also flexible memory system. As you see this morning, everything, there are a lot of chance for this flexibility and wearability. So this is what we are doing in Yonsei University. I begin with interface, but if we can activate the interface, we can do a lot of things between scientific excellence and commercialization. In chemistry, what you can do, this interface can be activated through electrochemical or optical. So I'm just showing that there's also other technology developed for this kind of nice, color filters without having much dyes. This is one type of conducting polymer which shows full colors of an application of potential. Or you see this is electrical mirror. You are looking at this electrical mirror for the first time having bistability. And this is very recent work from our lab. And also, of course, you need some materials, and these are the chance for the conducting polymer to be utilized for energy harvesting, as well as stem cell harvesting or cell harvesting as a sheet. And also this tribal or mechanoelectric area, you would need like a conducting polymers, and even for the acoustic energy harvesting. So this kind of a new area for this commercialization. I guess this dynamic video is not going to work, but just I will skip out. Of course, we do some approach in university. However, that's gotta be done through all nationwide approach or even international efforts to cooperate university and industry. So I sum up, there must be some approach to be done for this cooperation or assistance to students for practical experience. I already see that in Germany there are a lot of activity for this assistance. And there are, of course, some kind of grants from the government that has to be done. So in the future, with such kind of a interfacial effort, we could have a very active interface to join this university and industry together. With time, I would like to call for international collaboration with our university and also other universities between Korea and Japan. And I'm sure all the people who's preparing for this conference would help for this kind of collaboration. With this, I would like to finish my talk, and I'd like to thank you for your attention. Thank you.
네, 김 교수님 감사합니다. 정말 전 두 가지 놀랐는데요. 하나는 연대에서 이렇게 랩과 또 이 커머셜라이제이션에 대해서 이런 많은 프로그램을 성공적으로 수행하고 있는지 전 몰랐습니다. 오늘 처음 알았고요. 두 번째로 아주 시간 잘 지켜주셔서 감사합니다. 다시 한번 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시죠. 자, 오늘 이제 마지막 발제를 해 주실 분을 제가 우리 남학현 교수님이시죠. 강원대학교에. 여러분들 우리 모 기업체 회장님이 이제 말씀하신 얘기 아시죠? 너 해봤어? 하는 얘기. 그걸 우리 남학현 교수님께서 나 해봤어 하고 이제 아마 오늘 소중한 경험을 여러분들께 아마 소개를 해 주실 것 같습니다. 다시 한번 남학현 교수님께 큰 박수를 쳐 주시죠. 예.
While everybody is talking about the big picture at the big universities, on the other hand, what I'm going to talk today is just a small case in one small university laboratory. So it may be just a case, not an example to follow, but anyway, I'll try to summarize what I have experienced from the university startup to a corporation. In the 1997, we had economic crisis in Korea, and that prompted the university and R&D Institute to make startups. And government at the time made a new law that allows the university professors to have double jobs, such as founding the company. So taking this chance, we found the company in 2000, but before I go for university startup, what is the advantage of making university startup? Which is, many believe that university has some leading high technology. So probably that whether it is a myth or true, or just a belief. But on the other hand, still every people believe that the university has the leading technology. So we can take the chance for the university startup, and secondly, that the university startup can connect the laboratory to the real world, and thirdly, that in the university we have excellent steps and the students who are ready to challenge the world. So that's the biggest advantage of having a university startup. On the other hand, university startups has a big disadvantage in terms of they don't have any real understanding of the market except some big pictures in the searchable in the internet. it says the market size is 10 billion. It is really 10 billion with your product, which is very different from the real market size. So they don't have the actual understanding of the market structure and the market size. And also, when we make the university startups, still it is the relationship between the professor and student or just a friend. So we don't have the right management skill, how to manage them in the right framework. And thirdly, that when we finish the development, the real problem is to supply the goods to the real world. That contains a lot of manufacturing issues, such as how to make the quality assurance and then registration, legal problems, and so on. So, which is daunting challenge that we have to face. So, my research area is a biosensor. What is biosensor? In short, I can say this is a laboratory instrument that measures the glucose. It's a standard laboratory instrument or a hospital instrument that measures the glucose level in your blood. So it has a big instrument with a very complicated sensor system. On the other hand, the biosensor is that we make it as a very small carryable strips in a hand carryable devices. And then we put all this technology into a compact chemistry in a small, very small area. So it is close to nanochemistry, whatever chemistry we put on. But I say it is a kind of a, we provide the convenience of use and reduced accuracy, but because we put all this high technology into small area, that accuracy will be sacrificed a little bit, but we can provide this technology to general public with a very low cost. So I say in some sense, Christensen's terminology, we may say it's disruptive and market-oriented research in nature. So when we start this kind of research in the university from the beginning, we are looking at the commercial possibility. So these are some of the successful products in the market. Then in year 2000, knowing all this background, because we have accumulated some credibility in academics, and also we had finished some of the contract industrial R&D very successfully, that we had some high credibility for ourselves. And then so Professor Geun-Sik Cha, who is my co-worker for 22 years, and me found the company in May 2000 at the small university laboratory. So initial founding members were, we had at the time about 30 members of student and graduate student. Then we asked them who are going to join our company. And then 5 of the graduate students volunteered that they would join my company at the time. So 5 graduate students from the chemistry lab joined. And then our initial goal was to provide the high technology R&D. After we finished it, we kept talking about the Death Valley and how to connect the real world and so on. That, okay, we have finished the R&D, then we are going to provide at least pilot product so that we'll demonstrate the usefulness and that it is actually manufacturable. Then we will sell the technology to some prospective company who are willing to make it as a real product in the world. So this was our business model, which is still many university professors believe this is a workable model. Then, so we went around to collect some money to start up the company. This was investor relations that we had at the time in year 2000. And this was the corporate identity. We said we will do all this kind of R&D in the laboratory, and then we'll make some unique product and creative management, and we'll become the world's best R&D company. What does the creative management means? That I don't know, which means that we are ignorant. That is a creative. So I'll explain what creative means, why creative means ignorance. So the Then we said to our investors, we have all these technologies, so we'll make a point-of-care diagnostic sensors. So if you invest, you will have a very profitable R&D company in the end. But after somehow our presentation have worked, or those venture capitalists was probably ignorant enough to believe us. Whatever the reason is, we were successful in securing the initial fund. Then after we secured the fund, what really happened to us was then, wow, we didn't expect that we would have fund. But anyway, we had a fund. What should we do with this money? Then we suddenly realized that this is a debt. It's not a money that I can expense. This is not the money that I can throw it away. So we had to be responsible, socially responsible, what to do with this money. Then we completely changed our attitude. So that, I say, is one of the creativeness. We quickly changed our mind. Okay, to run the company, we need the money. So let's make something that actually sellable in the market. So we decided to develop something that is currently being sold in the market. So then anything that is sold in the market has a very high competition. What should we do? If we avoid the high competition, then we are not going to do anything in the end. So let's not avoid a competition. Let's start it. Then we started look at all the market structure, and then found that 90% of biochemical sensor market is occupied by the blood glucose monitoring sensors, and it is already flooded with all the well-known companies. And yet, we thought, okay, still there should be some point that we can get into. So we started our R&D with the minimum number of highly qualified employees, which was our 5 graduate students, and we didn't hire any further. And also we sacrificed the present for the better future, persuading our graduate students, and at the time my employees, that we'll sacrifice our profits, and that you will sacrifice your current then for the future. So the basic theme to be able to persuade such a way is that you have to be very ethical and moral in running the company. Everything should be transparent so that the parent, the student, and all the employee can believe you. So we also aiming at the international business. So we secured intellectual properties. So in 1.5 years, we made some of the first product. Then at that time, of 2003 market was the highest, best specification in the market. So at least we tried to make something better than anything in the market. Then we come to a new challenge. After we made this technology, we tried to sell this one to big companies around, showing that, you see, it works. But we quickly find that it's not possible to sell the package of technology, pilot product, and personnel without actual business. So everybody say, oh, it works, but how do you manufacture? So without the real production line, it was not possible to do selling it. And so for the problem was that we have to get out of the Kwangwon University Incubation Center because it allows us to stay for only 2 years. So we had, with this challenge, then we had to make our own production line, which is manufacturing technology. And then we only had the chemistry student. Then how we are going to make this one as mass manufacturing? So then I still say it was possible because we believed, okay, everything is a logical thing, and no one is going to show us how to manufacture because it's a competition. So we say it's a manufacturing process by logic. So we segmented what we do in the laboratory one by one, and what if we are going to make it in mass manufacturing, what should be involved? So we discussed, and then we go around asking the mechanical people that how are you going to make this one, and so on. So then after year later, we could make a small production line in our small building, which is just in front of the Gwangwon University. And then we built a small building, and then which is only 195 square meter of space. Then we made a small production line, which could produce about 35,000 strips per day, which is very nothing, almost like a pipe production line. But actually, with this pilot production line, we could make the first product in year 2003, and then we could grow a little by little. And this is one statistics. Startup companies takes about 7 years with a $40 million development cost. But iSense was far below. We could finish everything in 3 years. Then, because of we did not have a right marketing technology, so we tried everything by the OEM business, supplying our strips to someone who would like to sell it. Then successful OEM supply agreement with a European company and American company in 2004 boost our growth. So starting from in 1.5 million to in 2012, we could sell up over $60 million, and then we could go into IPO in 2013. So it's still growing. And this is our manufacturing facility. During the meantime, while we are growing up, we realized the mass manufacturing depends on the scale. So we boldly invested and then persuaded the investors to invest more. And we could build a factory that could produce about 1 billion strips per year capacity. And then also we built some production line for the electronics that measures the glucose sensor strips. So at the takeoff stage, from the very startup, we need some management skill. First of all, we had to standardize everything what we did. Because to sell it in the international market, everything should be should meet the ISO guidelines and the auditing guidelines. So we tried all these standard things that is required for the company. So from the startup to sizable corporate, what do we need? First of all, attitude of admitting that we are ignorant, which means that we are ready to learn. We are ready to listen. So when you start up the company, don't stick on your own principle, which principle is nothing in the real world. Listen to others, what they say, at least 3, 4, 5 people, and then you discuss with your group of people, then you will find the way which is the most proper way for your own company. Then secondly, that establishment of human resource and then understanding their talent. Also, you have to standardize all the communication process. In the startup company, what is most lacking is the documentation. So we have this in our company. Do as documented and document as you do. So everything has to be documented for a standard process making. So with this, we have to have all the right technology and time. As companies grew, and we are expecting to sell over $100 million. And currently, we have headquarters in Seoul area, and we have 2 large factories, and one in Seoul, which we started from. And here we make electrolyte analyzer and blood gas analyzer system. So some U.S. branches. And now, all the founding members, where are they? We started with 5 of the top people, and then later people has joined from my laboratory also. So Dr. Kang Ki is the most responsible for person who made everything possible. He's now the president of the iSense China. And everybody was happily working in the iSense. No one has left. And also, our stock option at the beginning looked nothing, became a sizable wealth to them, at least $1 million over them. So we kept our promise for them, and we could make some financial contribution to the Kwangwon University. So this is a good thing why university has to support university startups, which will finally bring some benefit to the university. So finally, thank you. And this is the picture I've taken at the Willis Tower, and showing that I have nothing to tell you anymore. But I'll be happy to respond to you if you have any question. Thank you.
네, 감사합니다. 남학균 교수님, 정말 살아있는 생생한 창업의 경험. 사실 굉장히 쉽게 설명을 해주셔서 이 굉장히 쉽네 하고 여러분들 아마 나도 한번 해봐야지 하는 생각을 가지셨을지 모르겠습니다. 근데 참 그 속에 숨어 있는 여러 가지 어려움은 아마 말로서 다 표현을 못 하실 것 같아요. 그래서 오늘 우리 세 분의 발제를 잘 들었고요. 저는 오늘 굉장히 놀랐습니다. 흥분이 됩니다. 제가 이제 그래도 이 박근혜 정부 출범하면서 창조경제 구현 이 기본적인 셋업 하려고 많이 노력한 사람 중에 하나고, 이게 정말 힘들지 않겠나라는 고민도 많이 했는데 오늘 발표하신 세 분의 발제를 보니까 깜짝 놀랐어요. 우리가 이렇게 많이 잘 되고 있구나. 이 창조경제 구현이라는 게 우리가 결코 작년 한 해 떠들던 그 개념 논쟁이 무의미하다라는 것을 오늘 여기서 저는 아주 절실하게 깨닫고 갑니다. 아주 정말 감사합니다. 우리 세 분 발제자 분들을 위해서 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 자, 그럼 우리 시간이 없으니까 아마 한 10분 이상 우리가 딜레이 된 것 같아요. 그래서 바로 이제 지정 패널 토론으로 들어가고요. 그 토론자 두 분을 간략하게 소개해 드리겠습니다. 먼저 우리 문규학 대표님, 소프트뱅크의 CEO 겸 소프트뱅크 코리아의 CEO 겸 프레지던트를 맡고 계십니다. 큰 박수로 한번 맞이해 주시죠. 우리 남규학 대표님은 소프트뱅크에서 굉장히 오래 근무를 하셨고요. 고려대학을 졸업하시고 미국의 드렉셀 대학에서 그 MBA를 하셨습니다. 그리고 그 다음에 이제 우리 토론을 해주실 김형주 박사는 저희 스테피에서 아주 여성답지 않게 아주 액티브하게 우리나라의 그 스타트업 또 기업가 정신을 위해서 열심히 일을 해주고 계십니다. 김형주 박사는 서울대를 졸업하고 그 워싱턴 유니버시티, 미국의 워싱턴 유니버시티를 졸업하시고 지금 현재 우리 스테피에서 영 이노베이터 포럼, 아주 이 중요한 포럼입니다. 각 대학의 혹은 젊은 친구들의 그 창업 붐을 일으키는 그 프로그램을 잘 진행해주고 있습니다. 먼저 그러면 우리 김영주 박사한테 또 큰 박수 좀 부탁드리겠습니다. 그러면 먼저 우리 문규학 대표님께서 토론 한 6분 드릴게요. 예.
저희가 투자를 이제 주로 하는 회사인데요. 가장 투자를 할 때 고민이 투자할 만한 대상을 찾는 거잖아요. 그래서 대상을 찾는데 아마도 저희 에너지의 거의 대부분을 쏟게 돼 있습니다. 근데 사회적으로 이제 가장 많이 어떤 대상이라고 할 수 있는 부분이 사실은 학교죠. 왜냐하면 학교에는 아주 베이직한 테크놀로지를 가지고 계신 훌륭하신 그 연구자들, 교수님들이 많기 때문에 저희가 여러 경로가 있지만 유니버시티 혹은 컬리지 스핀오프가 아주 주요한 투자 대상으로 얘기를 할 수가 있습니다. 근데 우리 아이센스의 케이스처럼 우리 그 남 교수님의 케이스처럼 성공적이면 좋은데 사실은 좀 어려움들이 있습니다. 왜냐하면 뭐 좀 편하게 말씀드리면 기술을 잘 아는 것과 사업을 잘하는 문제는 굉장히 상이한 차원이 다른 문제이더라고요. 저희가 총 2000년부터 한국에서 한 170개 정도 투자를 했는데 그 중에 명확하게 유니버시티 스핀오프, 그러니까 컬리지 스핀오프라고 할 수 있는 회사가 4개가 있었습니다. 그 중에 딱 반이 성공하고 반이 실패를 하더라고요. 그래서 통계적으로 따지면 그 4개라는 숫자가 너무 작지만 굳이 나눠보면 성공한 회사와 실패한 회사가 완벽하게 차이가 있습니다. 기술은 뭐 다 다른 기술이기 때문에 피어 투 피어로 비교하기가 어렵지만 기술은 굉장히 뛰어납니다. 결국 사업을 성공을 못 시키시는 거죠. 그러니까 왜 그런가 보면 우선은 시장에 대한 이해가 굉장히 부족해요. 그러니까 훌륭한 기술이 어디에 쓰일 건가에 대한 이해가 첫째는 부족하고 두 번째는 매니지먼트 스킬이 상당히 부족합니다. 아이센스의 좋은 케이스로는 저는 굉장히 감동을 받았는데 회사를 경영을 할 줄 알아야 되거든요. 근데 그 부분에서 그 준비된 스킬이 부족하다는 것과 세 번째는 약간 제가 말씀드리기 좀 주저하는 문제인데 어찌 보면 그 본인의 운명을 걸지를 않더라고요. 돌아갈 때가 있는 거죠. 그래서 실패한 2회사는 그분들께는 좀 죄송한 얘기지만 다 돌아가셨어요. 아니 죽었다는 게 아니고 학교로 돌아가셨어요. 그래서 이게 뭔가 배수의 진을 치고 나한테 배 12척밖에 없다라는 정신으로 해도 될까 말까인데 그냥 뭐 좀 해보다가 안 되면 돌아가지 뭐 이런 마음으로는 작은 성공도 못 이루더라는 게 이제 제 경험으로 말씀드린 거고요. 그래서 조언을 좀 드리면 우선은 사업을 알아야 된다. 조직을 어떻게 운영하는지, 자금은 어떻게 운영하는지, 시장은 어떻게 개척하는지 이런 사업에 대한 이해가 좀 본인 스스로 다시 말씀드리면 교수님들이나 연구원들 스스로 있든지 아니면 그걸 잘하는 사람과 파트너링을 해야 된다. 두 번째는 마음 같지가 않기 때문에 버티는 시간을 잘 가늠을 해서 그 버티는 시간을 위한 돈이 확실하게 준비돼야 된다. 투자를 받으시건 아니면 집에 땅이 있으시면 파시건 있어야 된다는 생각이 들고요. 그리고 세 번째는 목표와 꿈을 절대로 중간에 조금 어려움이 있더라도 잊지 말아야 한다. 왜냐하면 포기하기 굉장히 쉽습니다. 제가 아까 말씀드렸듯이 돌아갈 때가 있기 때문에. 그래서 그런 점이 제가 투자를 뭐 해보면서 겪었던 점입니다.
네, 아마 우리 남학균 교수님의 성공 사례를 보고 야 나도 해보겠다라고 마음 먹으신 분들이 우리 또 문규학 대표님의 얘기를 듣고 아니야, 네 이거 도전하기 힘들다라는 아마 그 생각도 드셨을 것 같습니다. 아주 정말 왜 사업화가 어렵고 왜 기술과 또 서스테이너블한 경영, 서스테이너블한 석세스풀한 어떤 그 회사를 만드는 게 어렵느냐라는데 아주 핵심적인 아마 투자를 이렇게 하시는 과정에서 경험을 얘기해 주신 것 같아요. 자, 그럼 우리 김영주 박사. 예.
네, 안녕하십니까. 과학기술정책연구원의 김형주입니다. 먼저 잠깐 제가 독일이라는 나라와 아주 작은 인연을 가졌던 거를 좀 회상을 해보자면요. 고등학교 때 그 괴테 인스티튜트에서 그 주관을 하는 고등학생 대상의 어떤 컴피티션에 제가 학교 대표로 나간 적이 있습니다. 그때 아쉽게도 제가 그 미천한 독일어 실력으로 프라이즈 그 상을 타지 못하고, 그래서 이제 여름방학 동안 독일에서 어학연수를 할 기회를 놓쳤는데, 만일 그때 그 기회를 잡았다면 제가 독일에서 공부할 기회를 만일 얻게 될 수도 있고, 또 이 자리에 아데코 회원 그 멤버 중에 하나로 참석할 수도 있었는데, 오늘 또 이렇게 패널 토론자로 불러주셔서 참 영광스럽게 생각합니다. 감사합니다. 저는 스테피에서 그 작년 말부터 시작해서 영이노베이터라는 과제를 책임을 맡아서 진행을 하고 있습니다. 이 과제는 그 전통적인 어떤 그런 팔러시 리서치와는 조금 다르게 그 한국의 젊은 이노베이터들과 정책 관계자들을 그 다리를 이어주는 어떤 인터페이스 역할을 하고자 어떤 이벤트나 만남의 자리를 마련하는 것을 위주로 이제 진행을 하고 있는데요. 올해 들어서 한 6번, 7번 정도 행사를 진행했는데, 지난달에는 연세대에서 영이노베이터스 톡 투게더라는 네트워킹 파티를 겸한 행사를 진행을 했습니다. 근데 그 행사를 진행을 하면서 그 행사 그 배경음악으로 어떤 음악을 고를지에 대해서 이제 연구진들이 토론을 하고 있었어요. 그러다가 이제 이런 그 스타트업 데이라든지 아까 그 TU 버린에서도 스타트업 데이를 진행하고 계신다고 했는데, 이런 스타트업 관련된 행사나 그 네트워킹 파티에서는 대부분 테크노 음악이나 일렉트로닉 음악을 틉니다. 그 행사 분위기와 굉장히 잘 어우러지거든요. 근데 이런 행사에서 왜 이런 음악을 자주 쓰고 이제 이런 혹시 관련된 정보가 있을까 해서 그런 사실이 되게 흥미로워서 검색을 하다가 찾아보니까 그 베를린이 이런 테크노 음악의 성지, 일렉트로닉 음악의 성지다, 이제 이런 사실이 검색이 되더라고요. 그래서 거기서 한 발자국 더 찾아보니까 이게 단순히 그 뮤지션들만 거기서 활동을 하는 게 아니라 이런 테크노 음악, 일렉트로닉 음악의 그 근간이 되는 어떤 사운드 엔지니어링이나 어떤 뮤직과 관련된 엔지니어링 기반의 스타트업들의 그 굉장히 그 번성하는 장소로서 베를린이 요즘에 굉장히 유명해졌다, 이제 이런 사실들을 검색하게 되었습니다. 그래서 제가 보니까 제가 이미 알고 있었던 사운드 클라우드나 네이티브 인스트루먼트 같은 그 유명한 뮤직과 관련된 테크 스타트업들도 베를린에 그 로케이션을 가지고 있더라고요. 근데 이 네이티브 인스트루먼트의 그 창업자 중에 하나였던 그 슈미트라는 CEO가 또 다른 스타트업을 베를린에서 창업을 했는데, 그 이름이 그 Non-Linear Labs라는 어떤 그 뮤지션들을 위한 일렉트로닉 툴을 개발하는 이런 기업을 또 설립을 했다고 합니다. 근데 이 창업자가 한 인터뷰에 따르면은 본인이 기업을 그 웨스트 벌린에 입지한 이유가 그 TU 벌린, 테크니컬 유니버시티 벌린과 굉장히 근접해 있기 때문에 거기서 그 탤런트들도 끌어올 수 있고 또 기술적인 협력도 할 수 있어서 입지를 그렇게 정했다, 이제 이렇게 인터뷰한 기사를 보게 되었습니다. 그래서 굉장히 인상 깊었던 것이 이런 독일 대학들, 특히 그 테크니컬 유니버시티 벌린을 포함해서 이런 독일 그 대학들이 그 지역의 어떤 혁신 시스템과 굉장히 밀접한 관계를 가지고 또 지역의 그런 어떤 테크니컬 씬에 굉장히 중요한 컨트리뷰션을 하고 있다는 게 굉장히 감명을 받았고요. 그리고 오늘 발제자분들이 이제 연세대 김 교수님, 광운대 남 교수님 다 발표해 주셨듯이 산학협력, 학생 창업 지원, 또 교수님들의 창업을 지원하는 등 최근에 많은 한국 대학들도 굉장히 굉장히 액티브하게 이런 활동들을 지원을 하고 있습니다. 특히 이제 최근에 연세대에서 행사를 하면서 5명의 이제 젊은 스타트업을 하는 엔터프리너 중에 한 명을 이제 연세대 졸업생, 졸업을 안 하고 아직 4학년으로 알고 있습니다. 졸업생이 창업한 아이디인큐라는 그 기업의 창업자 CEO를 초대를 했었습니다. 이 기업은 그 모바일 리서치 플랫폼을 제공하는 오픈 서베이라는 그 서비스를 제공하고 있는데요. 창업한 지 지금 3년이 조금 넘었는데 벌써 그 문 대표님의 그 소프트뱅크 코리아로부터 그 자금도 지원받고 굉장히 열심히 하고 있는 걸로 알고 있습니다. 그래서 뭐 제가 알고 있는 어떤 사례나 흥미로운 얘기들을 간략히 이제 두서없이 소개를 드렸는데, 저는 오늘 이렇게 많은 분들이 모이신 이 한독 컨퍼런스, Future and Technology 이 컨퍼런스가 어떤 앞으로 한국과 독일의 그 협력, 뭐 한국 대학과 독일 대학의 협력, 그리고 한국의 젊은 혁신가들과 독일의 젊은 혁신가들의 교류회장으로 더 발전할 수 있는 기회가 되기를 희망하고, 또 정책 연구자로서 거기에 좀 더 도움을 드릴 수 있는, 좀 더 기여할 수 있는 방안이 뭔지 한 번 더 생각해보는 기회로 삼고자 합니다. 감사합니다.
네, 뭐 여러분들 잘 그 세 분 발제자 내용을 들으셨겠습니다만은, 오늘 사실 발표와 토론은 엄밀한 의미에서 뭐랄까 서로 경험한 내용을 얘기하고, 또 토론자 두 분도 각 필드에서 벤처 캐피탈의 입장에서 사업화가 어렵고 왜 어렵고 무엇이 문제인가를 찝어주셨고, 또 우리 김영주 박사는 정책 연구, 그걸 지원하는 정책 연구를 하는 입장에서 어떻게 지원을 해주는 게 좋은지, 이런 얘기를 아마 틈을 메운 것 같아요. 그래서 오늘 뭐 우리 일반 학술 대회와는 달리 치열한 어떤 논리, 디베이트 뭐 이런 형식으로는 아마 진행이 되지 않을 수밖에 없는 그런 팀이고, 여러분들이 아마 굉장히 좋은 경험을 하셨으리라고 저는 생각합니다. 그래서 뭐 토론자 두 분에 대해서 우리 발제해 주신 두 분께서 뭐 특별히 하실 얘기가 없으면은 플로어에 아마 질문들이 제법 있으실 것 같아요. 근데 시간상 우리가 이게 블락이 세 블락이 있어요. 그래서 죄송한데 한 세 분만 각 블락에서 제가 모셔서 혹시 궁금하신 사항이 있으면은 질문하는 걸로, 질문하시기 전에 가능한 한 짧게, 그리고 자기 소개도 좀 하시고 1분 이내의 질문 부탁드릴게요. 자, 여기 앞에 손 드신
중앙대학교 산업창업대학원의 강철승 교수입니다. 오늘 와도 좋은 얘기 많이 들었는데요. 남학현 교수님이 지금 이번에 발표한 것과 관련되는 얘기를 한번 질문 좀 드리겠습니다. 우리가 요즘 그 창업을 할 때 융합을 하는 것을 IT와 융합을 하는 그런 아주 모델 케이스인데, 제가 엊그제 한국정책학회에서 창조경제와 융합산업에 관련된 그 논문을 발표를 했어요. 그런데 그 남학현 교수님이 그 얘기가 바로 이 당뇨 진단기더라고요. 그런데 이것이 하려고 그러면 제가 거기에 나와 있는 문헌을 조사를 해서 봐보니까 의료 장비 한 부분은 의료 장비고 또 한 부분은 IT와 관련된 이런 것이기 때문에 이 법에 관련된 법 제도들이 따로따로 있어가지고 이거를 하는데 굉장히 어렵다고 그러는데, 오늘 여기 발표를 해가지고 제품이 나오도록 그렇게 해가지고 하는데, 정부에서 의료와 관련된 것하고 이 IT와 관련된 통신에 관련된 이런 것들이 해결이 됐는지 그거 이제 궁금해서 한번 물어보고 싶습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 좋은 질문 감사합니다. 자, 이쪽 오른쪽 블록에서 누가 질문하실 분? 안 계시면은 요 왼쪽으로 가겠습니다. 왼쪽에서 혹시 질문하실 분 계세요? 없으시면 다시 가운데로 와서 네, 우리 박희재 단장님 얘기해 주시죠.
예, 우리 전략기획단장입니다. 박희재입니다. 오늘 정말 아주 두 분 좋으신 말씀을 남학hin 교수님 그리고 또 문규학 사장님 그 두 분의 굉장히 프랙티컬한 그런 얘기를 좀 들었습니다. 먼저 그 두 분께 질문을 드린 질문보다는 우선 우리 문 사장님은 4건을 투자해서 2건을 성공시켰다고 그러는 제가 보기엔 거의 신기록일 것 같습니다. 거의 신의 손이 아닌가. 예. 실질적으로 기업을 창업해서 석세스 스토리가 3%밖에 안 되거든요. 그렇죠. 기본적으로 97%가 안 되게 돼 있습니다. 그렇기 때문에 당연히 안 되는 게 당연한 것이고 당연히 이제 그러는 환경이거든요. 그래서 오히려 거꾸로 지금 현재 우리 사회에 굉장히 지금 부족한 게 기업가 정신 그리고 도전하는 차원까지 부족한데 그래 너 작두에서 춤 한번 춰봐라 너 한번 태어난 DNA 가정 해봐라 그러면 사실 할 사람이 아무도 없습니다. 뭐 매니지먼트를 배웠습니까? 아니면 뭘 배웠겠습니까? 배운 거 없거든요. 근데 그런 사람 너 한번 작두에서 춤춰봐라. 이 춤추다 죽게 돼 있어요. 그럼 뭘 해야 되냐 하면 그래 쉽게 춤추다가 빠져나오기도 그래 너 이렇게 하면 여기다 춤을 추려면 양말도 두껍게 신어야 되고 장화도 신어야 되고 한번 잠깐 나와서 술 한잔 먹고 또 올라가야 되고 뭐 이런 얘기를 좀 해주고 빠져나갈 구멍도 만들어주고 쉽게 말하면 폰으로 쉽게 들어갔다가 쉽게 나왔다는 사람들이 많아야 된다는 겁니다. 그리고 그게 시스템으로 만들어져야 된다고 생각을 합니다. 그래서 그런 부분에서 그리고 아까 이제 금융 사실 우리 남사장이 정말 석세스 스토리에 대해서 정말 그냥 박수와 갈채를 보내고 싶고요. 그러면서 우리 문 사장님 같이 참 그런데 가장 중요한 게 사실은 우리 기술 퍼센테이지는 30%밖에 안 될 겁니다. 정말 마케팅 그리고 파이낸스가 가장 중요한데 그런 부분에서 그냥 단순히 어떤 파이낸스 투자를 하고 뭐 이런 그런 개념보다는 좀 적극적으로 인게이지를 해서 마케팅도 연결해주고 마케팅 채널도 만들어주고 필요하면 보드 오브 디렉터도 좀 갈아주기도 하고 뭔가 이렇게 적극적 인게이지먼트를 통해서 기업을 인큐베이션하는 그런 어떤 적극적인 전략. 그래서 단순히 어떤 파이낸셜 에셋만 보는 것이 아니라 어떤 그런 전략이 지금 필요하고요. 사실 우리 남 교수님 같으신 분은 우리나라에 거의 미러클일 거예요. 거의 익스트림 케이스. 모두 다 에브리바디 남 교수님 같이 하라고 막 없을 겁니다. 네, 그래서 그런 시스테매틱한 그런 전략적인 상당히 어떤 그런 부분들에서 어떤 기업가 정신, 창업가 정신을 좀 만들었으면 좋겠는데 그런 쪽에 좀 전략을 좀 이렇게 했으면 좋겠다는 말씀 들어서
사실은 우리 박희재 단장님도 그런 분 중에 한 분이세요, 사실. 그래서 우리 박희재 단장님하고 아까 좀 전에 그 중앙대 교수님 질문하신 내용을 우리 두 분이 우리 남 교수님부터 하시겠어요? 예, 좀 해주시죠. 네.
중앙대 교수님 그 질문에 대해서 이제 IT와 왜 헬스케어가 융합이 되지 않느냐라고 질문을 하셨는데 그것 역시 제 판단에는 아까 제가 I'm ignorant라는 생각을 계속 해야 된다라고 했는데 그 IT 하시는 분들은 IT 하는 분야에서 자기가 굉장히 똑똑하다고 생각하시고 헬스케어 하시는 분들은 헬스케어 하는 분야에서 자기가 굉장히 똑똑하다고 생각을 하십니다. 무슨 이야기냐면은 실제로 IT와 헬스케어를 융합했을 때 그것을 사용하는 당뇨 환자가 정말 그것을 쓸 것이냐, 당뇨 환자의 행동 패턴을 분석하고 정말 쓸 사람들에 대한 연구가 먼저 선행이 돼야 되는데 IT 하는 분들은 IT 기술이 이렇게 좋으니 내가 이런 기술을 제공하면 당뇨 걸린 사람들이 얼마나 많은 혜택을 보겠느냐 이렇게 이야기를 합니다. 그런데 IT 했을 때 결국은 데이터를 웹에다 올리고 또는 어떤 디바이스에 갖고 그것으로 자기를 관리하는 거거든요. 근데 제가 가끔 농담 삼아서 얘기했는데 그렇게 부지런하게 자기 데이터 올리고 볼 사람 같으면 아예 당뇨에 안 걸렸어. 이렇게 제가 농담 삼아서 이야기를 합니다. 그러니까 즉 쓰는 사람의 비헤이비어는 하나도 연구가 안 돼 있는 상태고요. 두 번째로는 헬스케어 하는 분들이 고집이 굉장히 강하거든요. 나를 찾아오지도 않고 그냥 인터넷에 제공된 몇 가지 정보를 가지고 자기가 자기를 관리한다고 말이 되는 소리를 해라 이런 생각들이 굉장히 강하십니다. 그래서 그분들이 IT로 해서 그렇게 커넥티드 헬스로 해서 얻어진 데이터로 환자가 정말 좋아진다라는 연구들이 선행이 돼야 되는데 그런 연구가 가버먼트 중심으로 해서 그냥 몇 개 보고서를 잘 쓰기 위한 연구는 있지만 정말 필드에서 환자들이 그걸로 베니핏을 받느냐에 관한 연구는 없습니다. 따라서 양쪽 다 실제로 움직이기에는, 사업적으로 움직이기에는 굉장히 리스크가 큽니다. 그러다 보니까 결과적으로는 법을 다루는 사람들도 누구 손을 들어줘야 될지 모르는 상황에 있고, 그거는 한국만 그런 게 아닙니다. 전 세계, 저희가 이 사업을 하기 위해서 전 세계를 돌아다니면서 지금 사업을 하려고 하는데, 이 커넥티드 헬스라는 개념이 제대로 임플리먼트 되고, 그러니까 설치되고, 그 다음에 작동하는 나라가 단 한 나라도 없습니다. 그래서 그런 부분에 있어서는 우리나라만의 문제는 아니고, 헬스케어를 다루는 사람과 IT를 다루는 사람들이 실제 환자와 관련된 연구가 먼저 선행이 돼야 되지 않을까. 그리고 그게 정말 필요하다는 것을 사회에서 인정하는 그런 단계까지 가기 전에는 아마 조금 힘들지 않을까 하는 게 제 개인적인 생각입니다. 저희는 회사적으로는 언제든지 그런 기회가 온다면 우리는 뛰어들 준비를 하기 위해서 회사에서는 꾸준히 기술도 개발하고, 지금이라도 법제적으로 가능하다 그러면 할 수 있는 테크놀로지나 제품은 다 만들어 놓고는 있습니다만, 실제 시장에서 요구하는 곳은 한 곳도 없습니다.
네, 남 교수님 감사합니다. 우리 문 대표님 짧게 아마 5분
네.
이내로 우리 오거나이징 오피스에서 끝내주라 해서.
박 교수님 질문에 제가 답을 하려면 옷 벗고 한 10시간 말씀드려야 되는데, 저는 신은 신의 손은 아니고요. 저희 회장님이 신의 손입니다. 200억 투자해서 80조 버시는 손정희 회장이 신의 손이고, 저희는 마이너스의 손입니다. 왜냐하면 저희가 굉장히 얼리 스테이지에 투자를 많이 하기 때문에, 얼리 스테이지에 투자를 많이 한다는 건 아까 말씀하신 것처럼 실패할 확률이 높거든요. 그래서 항상 궁색합니다. 그래도 저희는 계속 할 거고요. 지니까 대출을 쉽게 하는 것, 한국 벤처 생태계의 불멸의 과제입니다. 아마 독일에서는 혹은 미국에서는 이런 문제에 대해서 별로 논의를 안 하실 거예요. 실패가 자산이란 말은 저는 그렇게 많이 크레딧을 주지는 않습니다. 미국의 벤처 캐피털들도 성공한 사람에게 또 성공하라고 투자를 해주지 자꾸 실패하면 별로 안 좋아합니다. 그래서 그런 부분은 환경적으로 변화가 지금 되고 있어서 좋아져 보이고요. 그리고 아까 말씀하신 것을 핵심적으로 개념화시켜서 말씀드리면 이른바 포스트 인베스트먼트 매니지먼트라고 저희가 표현을 합니다. 돈만 주면 돈 갖고 어떻게 해야 될지 모르니까. 근데 사실은 저희처럼 포스트 인베스트먼트 매니지먼트를 굉장히 하드하게 이렇게 푸시를 하는 데는 별로 없는데요. 저희는 보드시스를 다 참여하고 해외 진출한다 그러면 데리고 나가서 소개도 해주고 하는데, 결국에 사업을 하는 사람은 기업가 자신입니다. 아무리 옆에서 도와줘도 본인들의 역량이 남 교수님처럼 없으면 아무리 도와줘도 받아먹지를 못해요. 그래서 중요한 건 본인들, 기업가들의 주체적 역량이 제일 중요한 것 같고요. 주체적 역량이 있으면 도움을 받을 환경은 대한민국이 전 세계 최고입니다. 감히 제가 말씀드리지만 10몇 년 전에는 그렇진 않았어요. 지금은 정말로 훌륭한 서포팅 그룹들이 많습니다. 그들의 도움을 받을 수 있을 겁니다. 네, 이상입니다.
네, 아주 좋은 질문과 좋은 답변 말씀 감사합니다. 저는 교수님,
박희재 교수님한테 간단하게 한마디만 덧붙여서 이야기하면은, 그리고 문 대표님 이야기에 덧붙여서 이야기하면은, 제가 회사를 했을 때부터, 시작을 할 때부터 지금까지 끊임없이 투자자들한테 받는 질문은 이겁니다. 왜 회사를 하세요? 그 다음에 인생의 목적이 뭐세요? 앞으로 어떻게 하실 거예요? 이 질문은 끊임없이 받는데, 처음에는 무슨 엉뚱한 소리냐 이렇게 남의 인생관을 얘가 왜 물어볼까 하고 굉장히 궁금했어요. 그랬는데 제가 회사를 하면서 보니까 그게 가장 중요하더라고요. 회사를 왜 하느냐에 대한 나름대로의 스토리가 있어야 되고 그 스토리를 확실히 지키려고 하는 신념이 있어야 되고요. 하려고 하는 목적이 개인적인 것인지 소셜한 것인지 뭐 인류를 위한 것인지 간에 어떤 목적이 명확해야 되고요. 그 다음에 그런 과정 중에서 결국은 내 가치관에 의해서 회사에 가진 기술이라든지 그 이외의 모든 것은 희생하고 바꿀 수가 있어야 됩니다. 내 가치관에 의해서 기술은 따라가는 거지 기술에 의해서 내 가치관이 따라가는 것은 아니다. 라는 그런 생각을 참 많이 하게 됐고 그게 아마 그 대학 교수님들이 가장 많이 실패하는 원인이 아닐까. 제가 어떤 창투사에 갔는데 지금도 가슴을 때리는 게 투자하지 말아야 할 회사 5개를 적어놨는데 1번 CEO가 독선적이다. 2번 CEO가 독선적이다. CEO가 자기 기술을 과신한다. 3번 CEO가 교수이다. 그 다음에 4번 식당이 지저분하다. 5번 화장실이 지저분하다. 이렇게 5개를 적어놓은 창투사를 보고서는 한참 생각을 했습니다. 그러니까 CEO가 독선적이다는 가면 참 잘나신 분이고요.
교수님
예.
예.
그래서 그것만 말씀드리겠습니다. 그래서 그 부분이 교수들이 해결할 문제고 학교에서 개인이 해결할 문제지 창투사가 해결할 문제는 아닌 것 같습니다.
네, 정말 소중한 말씀을 주셨습니다. 저는 뭐 채우로서 시간을 끌 필요는 없는데 한 가지 좀 소개를 1분 정도 올릴까 합니다. 그래서 사실은 저희 스태피에서 아까 말씀드린 영 이노베이터 포럼이라는 걸 아주 작년부터 쭉 해오면서 젊은 우리 학생들, 젊은 청년 창업가들이 방금 남 교수님이 하신 스피릿, 정말 이 기본적으로 사람이 가지고 있는 왜 내가 창업을 해야 되고 기업을 운영하는 의미가 뭐냐, 이게 중요하거든요. 그래서 정부로부터 우리가 내년에 기업가 정신 창업센터를 만들겠다 해서 예산과 인력을 받았습니다. 그래서 그 센터를 스태피 내에 만들면은 더욱 더 적극적으로 기업가 정신 창업에 대한 여러 가지 연구와 정책적인 서포트를 할 것입니다. 그래서 어떤 정부에 계신 분들이 물어요. 아니 정부 프로그램에 창업센터 뭐 등등 해가지고 많은 프로그램이 있는데 그 차별성이 뭐냐? 스태피에 이 센터가 있습니다. 여러분 방금 세 분이 말씀하신 것처럼 돈과 퍼실리티만 있어가지고 성공하지 못합니다. 중요한 거는 스피릿이거든요. 기업가 정신이고 기본적인 소양을 갖추는 겁니다. 저희는 그런 노력을 할 거고요. 여러분들께 이제 내일부터 많은 안내를 드릴 테니까 많이 참여해 주시고요. 그 미국의 카우프만 재단 같은 어떤 역할도 하고요. 그래서 저희가 열심히 하겠습니다. 이걸로 사회자로서의 어떤 의견을 좀 대신하고요. 아마 톰슨 교수님께서 뭐 하실 말이 굉장히 많으실 것 같은데 Would you like to speak something? I will give you 1 minute. Okay.
Thank you very much. Half a minute. I'm very impressed by the actual story that Professor Nam told us about how you can actually be successful. And I think the point is there's many facets to being successful. One is to be creative, and I think university can provide an environment for that. The other one is to learn how to do business, how to not make business mistakes. That's important, and also financing is important. Without financing, will not be possible. I think we've heard a nice summary of all these aspects from all the panelists, and I thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you another continuous nice good day. Thank you very much.
네, 감사합니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 발제 토론해 주신 네 분께 환영을 해 주시죠. 자, 오늘 정말 우리 세션에 많이 참여해 주신 것 같아요. 이 세션의 중요성을 아마 여러분들이 인정해 주신 것 같고요. 오늘 여기서 발제하고 토론하신 내용이 여러분들 할 얘기가 많으실 것 같은데 아마 기회가 있는 것 같아요. 저녁에 아마 우리가 그 리셉션도 있고 또 아마 여기 이메일 발제하신 분들 이메일도 있고 토론자들 이메일도 있을 겁니다. 여러분들께서 궁금하신 거는 이메일로 아마 추가적으로 질문을 하시면 될 것 같습니다. 여러분 이상 우리 세션 2를 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
For chairing this session, and please, there's coffee and some cookies outside, and the break will be over when you hear the bell, so probably around 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we now start session 4 of the joint conference, the Korean-German joint conference. With a delay of only 5 minutes, we start with session 4, which is called Digital Society and Big Data. My name is Christoph Pohlmann. I'm only the moderator of this session. And I want to introduce now to you the most important person, the chair of that session. It is Professor Dr. Sang-Kyun Cha. He is the founding director of SNU Big Data Institute. Dr. Cha, now it's your session.
So I think I set the rule that we can speak any language, German or Korean or English. But I'll start with English. So the topic today is the digital society and big data. And I'm very honored and pleased to lead this session. This morning I sat down here and created some slides, real time, so that's my job. So what is my connection to Germany and my connection to big data processing? So I was living in an Exodus for the past decade, trying to launch new technology for big data processing. And I started a company from a university and then moved to Silicon Valley. And then my startup was quietly acquired by a German company, SAP, in 2005. And then I worked very closely with German colleagues and also from people from Silicon Valley. And at the end, I was one of the 4 founding members of SAP HANA project, which became the new platform for SAP itself and then for the platform leading industry. So the idea here is to use in-memory data processing technology. And I've been working on this area for 20 years, and SAP recognized that this is the technology they want to invest. 9 years ago, nobody expected to have this kind of technology to come out to the market. But with SAP, you see the gentleman on the left is the founder of one of the founders of SAP and the chairman of supervisory board. So I worked with him and also the key technical people inside SAP for the past years. So I had a privilege of working with the German colleagues and understand German culture, not only the culture of music or but also how they work. We've been chemically mixed. So I made the German colleagues to drink Korean makgeolli when I learned drinking Hefeweizen. So, at the end, I learned that 2 things are almost the same. One is made out of wheat and the other one is made out of rice. So what's the difference? anyway, that was my introduction. And so people talked about, it's very difficult to get the technology out to the market, and a lot of startups die in the valley. So you see in the chasm, you see the chasm on the left side. That's the valley, Death Valley. But I was in danger of dying, and then fortunate to find the German colleagues and then cross the chasm. So I'm very proud that the research area that I did become the leading, leading force for paradigm change in big data and data management area. So not only SAP, nowadays IBM, Microsoft, Oracle are all chasing SAP at this moment. So now back to big data. Because big data is universal, we have a very outstanding speakers and also the panelists here. And so I decided to create a little bit of my own view on big data. In Korea, there has been recently emphasis on software, and we absolutely need the investment in the software. So President Park recently called a meeting for 2 hours with about 170 people in the Pangyo Valley. So she named, "We are moving to software-centric society." I was sitting there, and I was given the 3 minutes to speak. So the mega trend is the value in the market shift from hardware to software and service. The competition in hardware is very high, and because hardware easily become commoditized. You can find Chinese companies easily copy, Samsung smartphones, and Apple phones. So the software is the essential, the core value at the end. And big data is in the center of this software-centric society. I will show a couple of slides, and IoT is a mechanism for automatically collecting a huge volume of data here and there, anytime. So this creates a new paradigm for our society to come. And you see the real-time openness, transparency, rational decision-making, economical decision-making are the characteristics of this new paradigm. And the technology some of the technology is already in the market, and they will become more mature, and they will become cheaper in the future. So we don't have to worry about technology. I'm a technologist, so I have a strong confidence that we can come up with the solutions. So I actually pick up this slide from the Gartner's report, and big data is everywhere. Connected cars. Google is, working on this connected cars, and real-time healthcare, and smart network. And Germany has been launching Industry 4.0 to modernize, manufacturing. And smart grid, I think that we have one speaker from, one panelist from here to talk about smart grid and the big data. And our government is one of the most advanced in the world in to maintain the e-government infrastructure. And the government is pushing the advancing this infrastructure further. We call this government 3.0. And this morning there was the mention about how we apply big data to and IoT to sports, and the German soccer team won the World Cup. And I know that the technology that I developed, SAP's technology, in-memory real-time technology is used for training soccer players. And you get the sensor, you put the sensors on the players, and you have real-time analysis of the game. And this improves the strength of the team. And in the future, we will see real-time connected healthcare. Samsung or iPhone, the Apple coming up with this kind of wearable device. And this wearable device combined with the real-time big data infrastructure will provide more responsive service to the patients in the future. So, and this is my last slide. The big data way is different from the analysis that we do Excel. We do more holistic, evidence-based approach to scientific, medical, engineering, and socio-economical problems. This is a very universal problem. So that's why in my university, Seoul National University, created the Big Data Institute in April. This is not just a technological issue. This is the transdisciplinary. Some people say interdisciplinary. Interdisciplinary is too small because this is so big. So we use the term transdisciplinary. And in solving the problem, ideation, imagineering, and innovation is a critical steps. And because the society will change in the future, there's a lot of opportunities for the what you call creative economy. There are a lot of opportunities for coming up with the new ideas and creating new startups. So I think this is a good place to invest in the future. And of course, there are challenges like privacy issues and other moral concerns, and also how to innovate on the customs and the laws that are not matching with the ideal that we want to achieve in the future with the big data. So this is a kind of new challenge. So let me stop here and introduce next speaker, Professor Park Joo-yeon. She's from Hanguk Foreign Studies. I'm sorry, I'm not good at the English translation. 한국 외대 교수님이신 박주연 교수님을 소개하겠습니다. 박수로 맞아주십시오.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I want to talk about big data issue in digital society. I am a social scientist and media communication studies scholar. Due to my interest in and experience with media, so my focus here is mainly on big data in media context. So as you know, big data is now big news. The New York Times named already the year of 2012 the crucial year of big data. As a term and as a concept, big data broke through from the tech circle into mainstream. Since 2012, the news reporting about big data is dramatically increasing. Big data changes also the practice of journalism. Many journalists are now new tools and analyzing large data sets to understand the world, create stories, and inform the public. At the core of this data journalism, growing availability of open data that is available online. The first major news organization to adopt this term is The Guardian. Guardian launched a data blog in March 2009. The Guardian's news coverage take the advantage of free data visualization tools such as Google Fusion Tables. Now let me talk about the paradigm shift in media and communications. Clearly, smart mobile devices already dominate the scene in our society. Digital devices that record our movements and communications have become widespread. The upsurge in data will greatly accelerate as we embark on the Internet of Things, when millions of network sensors are being embedded in physical devices. And Cisco estimates that 50 billion devices and objects will be connected to the Internet by 2020. Each time we use our smartphone, social media, or search engine, digital traces of our activities are being stored. Emerging online apps will not only enable users to upload videos, also incorporate wearable devices in the form of a digital watch or glasses to allow for continuous audiovisual captures. In a digitized media world, when we are communicating, browsing, buying, sharing, searching, we created our own enormous trace of data. This impressive visualization shows the dynamic dimension of global connections map between users on Facebook. Social media platform Facebook has been integrated into the everyday lives of many of its active users. This site is driven by the disclosures users make on the site by uploading photos and writing their status updates. These digital traces of life are archived by default, especially for young users who have grown up using Facebook. Significant parts of their social and cultural lives have been played out on this site. There has been a dramatic increase in the amount of data. When the Gutenberg press was invented, there was doubling of information stock every 50 years. Information now doubles at different speed. YouTube has 72 hours of video uploaded every minute. Facebook is processing about 2.7 billion like actions, over terabytes of data every day. What is big data? We have all heard about big data. As cool as big data may sound, there is certainly confusion about what big data really is. There is no one definition of big data. So in simple terms, big data involves data sets that are far larger than those traditionally examined in science. But big could be relative. So as like data scientist Professor Likely says, today's big is probably tomorrow's medium and next week's small. So size alone is therefore not a sufficient descriptor. These three elements are often used to characterize the different aspects of big data. First, the data has large volume. Second, the data has high velocity. It means that data is being produced and analyzed at a rapid rate, often in real time. Third, the data has significant variety. So big data includes diverse types and structure of data. For example, text, sensor data, call records, audio and videos, log files, and more. So big data analysis has been made possible by technological advances. So handling such a large data set has become easier through the development of techniques like Hadoop clusters. The inside and out of big data are spread out over many factors and already affecting several aspects of our society. It is enabling important discoveries and innovations in different sectors, including healthcare, education, energy use, agriculture, transportation, and climate change. Big data motivates also researchers from diverse fields to investigate new methods and algorithms and to find out new patterns or correlations. One of the key benefits of this analysis of big data is predictions in the form of probability. So let me talk about a big data case, Netflix. Netflix is the largest video streaming service player with a global subscriber. This company's most recent success is TV series House of Cards. House of Cards has been viewed by millions of Netflix subscribers. So Netflix used big data analytics to determine that House of Cards would be successful. So Netflix knew that the British version of House of Cards was well received to their subscribers, and that those who watched it also tended to watch Kevin Spacey films or films directed by David Fincher. So big data indicate that these TV series projects, combining all these three factors, would almost certainly appeal to their viewers. As the success of House of Cards has demonstrated, big data analytics can yield major dividends. Another case of big data analysis is Seoul late-night bus routes. The city of Seoul and telecommunication firms have worked together to enhance the quality of public services using telecommunication firms' big data and cities' public data. Telecommunication company analyzed the movement of citizens around the at night based on localized call data and found the specific areas most frequented at night. In terms of volume, over 300 million call detail records were analyzed for this project and combined with a variety of Seoul's public data. So as a result, several more night bus routes have been added to the original cities plan, so citizens can pay only $2 to travel home rather than $20 for a taxi. Another case is Google Food Trends. The Google Food Trend is also an example of big data and collective intelligence. Google Food Trends provides estimate of influencer activity for more than 25 countries. Google has found a close relationship between how many people search for flu-related topics online and how many people actually have flu symptoms. By aggregating Google search queries, it attempts to make predictions about flu activities in many countries. So as you see, the potential benefits of big data for our society are numerous. But at the same time, the uses of big data raise some questions and concerns, such as those related to privacy, data security, and ethics. Many have compared the future of big data to the Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, in which predictions seem so accurate that people can be arrested for crimes before they are committed. Like other social technological phenomena, big data triggers both utopian and dystopian rhetoric. Big data is seen as a powerful tool to address various social problems, offering the potential of new insights. On the other hand, big data is seen as a traveling manifestation of a big brother, enabling invasions of privacy and decreased civil freedoms and increased state and corporate controls. The technologies of collection and analysis of data are being used in every sector of our society and economy. The result is a massive increase in the amount of intimate information confided of an individual. The important thing is that big data doesn't start as big data. Instead, it is assembled bit by bit from little data and becomes big. In the light of predictive power of big data analytics, this little data often reflects deeply sensitive information about individuals. This is a lesson from the new infamous retail firm's Target Pregnancy Predictor Score. So according to the report from New York Times, Target was able to apply an algorithm to purchasing patterns to determine that a teenager was pregnant. Another problem is security. So another reality of big data is that once data is collected, it is very difficult to keep anonymous. In 2006, a Harvard-based research group started gathering the profiling of 1,700 college-based Facebook users to study how their interest and friendship changed over time. These data were released to the world, allowing other researchers to explore and analyze them. What other researchers quickly discovered was that it was possible to identify parts of the data set, the privacy of students. This case made headlines and raised a difficult issue for scholars. What is the status of so-called public data on social media sites? Whether born analog or digital, data can be reused and combined with other data in ways never before thought possible. So as a consequence, data once created is in many cases effectively permanent. The average user is unlikely to be aware of a range of data being collected or even to know who holds it. So we will have fewer opportunity to engage over the scope or accuracy of data being held around us. To conclude, the big data will continue to evolve. As I mentioned already, the potential benefits of big data are numerous, but the wide variety of potential uses for big data about people raises crucial questions about whether our legal, ethical, and social norms are sufficient to protect privacy and other values in our society. While this phenomenon is taking place in an environment of rapid change, current decisions will shape our futures. Therefore, we should think about how we handle the emergence of big data in our society. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Park, for a comprehensive introduction to big data and issues. And I actually skipped the introduction of Professor Park. Professor Park did the master and the PhD degrees in Freie Universität. Is my pronunciation close? In Berlin. And next speaker is Professor Seung-no Yoon. He is associate professor in Seoul National University. So he will talk about the big data in bio area. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to speak in English, even though my mother tongue is Korean, and unfortunately I cannot speak any German. So I have a niece who used to live in Germany, but she's now in the United States. So this morning I called her and asked, well, I'm going to speak in front of some German people, and what can I say? And she asked me, is it morning or afternoon or evening? So I said afternoon, and she told me that Guten Tag first. So hello. My name is Seung-no Yoon, and I'm from Seoul National University, and I'm in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. So I am majoring in data analysis, especially on biomedical data, as well as large-scale data mining, also high-performance computing. So today I'm going to talk about the issues in applying the idea of big data to applications like biomedicine, which I guess everybody is interested in. So Guten Tag again. So we have, by we I mean Germany and Korea. We have both female leaders, okay, and they majored in science and engineering. I really like that. Okay, so, and I asked my niece one more time. So, Uncle, why are you there? And she asked, and I told her that probably it's a kind of a celebration of German reunification. So what can I say in German? And she told me, how about this? Schönen Tag der Deutschen Einheit. How about that? Yeah, I practiced this morning. So congratulations again. As a Korean, I really envy you, Germany, because of your reunification, of course. Right, so let me first introduce myself, even though I have a very short time. Already, I think 2 minutes has passed. And then I'm going to introduce the field of biodata, followed by bio-big data, and then how we can make some sense of bio-big data for ourselves. Right, so my name is again Seong-ro Yoon, and these are the pictures I took for the last 15 years whenever I make a change. For example, I switched from a university to this one, and I stopped working in a company, and this is the last day of the company, and so on. So my dissertation was on bio-big data mining, even though at that time it was not called big data, but I did bio-big data mining. So I have been doing that for more than 15 years. And yeah, on my graduation day, I was lucky enough to have Mr. Jobs to celebrate my graduation day. And when I was a graduate student, I had a chance to join Google, but I didn't because of my degree. And I kind of regret, right? So, and during the graduation ceremony, I thought about that while Mr. Jobs was speaking. And at the very end of his speech, he told me something like this: stay foolish and stay hungry. So I was kind of upset. Well, I should have joined Google and, get a lot of money. So yeah, I must be an idiot or something. But later I found out that he told something like this: not stay foolish and stay hungry, but the other way. Stay hungry and stay foolish, which is an absolutely positive meaning. So I'm quite happy, and I really miss Mr. Jobs. Right, so what I do for a living can be stated in one sentence like this: lost in translation. Do we have something lost in translation? So I do some kind of, combined research. I connect people in different disciplines, and, I try my best not to lose anything during the translation process. So I do data analysis for biomedicine, for example. And, even, every day we can, see many people who even, like the booksellers, they understand the connection between biology and engineering. For example, this is a photo I took last year when I visited this bookstore. Okay, and as you can see, one bookshelf is for biology books, and the other shelf is for ICT, like information technology books. Of course, between B and E, there are like C and D, right? So maybe they could have placed like chemistry books and dentistry books and so on, but somehow B and E. So even they know biology and engineering is connected. Right, so these days, these are the hottest buzzwords like ICBM, IoT, cloud computing, big data, or bio and mobile, right? And many of you know ICBM as not something like these, but something like this missiles, okay? And they are launched from a silo, okay? And I found one common fact between these ICBM buzzword and these missiles, and that I'm going to talk about very soon. So let me check the time, all right? I don't have much time. So as Professor Park nicely introduced, these days there are a lot of data available around us, and they are being created quite fast, and we have to analyze them in real time sometimes. So a lot of challenges, and as Professor Park also characterized nicely, 3 V's, okay? But I remember this picture, one erroneous, 4 circles during the Olympic Games in Russia, right? There should be 5, but somehow there are only 4. And I think this is a good way to make you remember these 4s: velocity, volume, variety, and value. And also, yeah, German automaker Audi, yeah, symbols are very similar. So German engineering is everywhere, right? So these days, many people agree the fact that this is a prime time for big data. And I can summarize the reasons as follows. First, we have a lot of data, of course. Second, we have very powerful infrastructure like, in-memory databases and parallel processors and so on. Also, we have a lot of very complicated and very nice algorithms. So these days, we are living in the era of big data. Sorry for showing you a Korean article, but I like the title. From wine quality assessment to DNA analysis, big data is affecting us a lot. So if this, all right, so let me talk other things. For example, again, not this time German engineering, but German sports. Okay, like German got the World Cup this year, right? Partly because of the computing infrastructure and analysis. Also, like this is a combination of Korean and German engineering, I would say. So this is an example of the technology for analyzing big data, like in-memory database developed by a German company, HANA, SAP HANA. Right, so yeah, I have been talking about good things, but as Professor Park already mentioned, there are some downsides as well. One issue is privacy, and another issue is like the silo problem. As I said, a missile is launched from a silo, right? So typically there are multiple silos in terms of, preserving data. And in a sense, having data is having some kind of power, right? For example, Central Intelligence Agency is, agency for collecting information, right? So people do not want to lose their power, and they do not want to reveal their own data. So these days we are facing a big challenge in terms of big data analysis, which is silo problem. And also, Professor Cha mentioned at SNU, the professors are trying hard to overcome this issue. For example, we created a center called Big Data Institute, and I hope many good ideas and breakthroughs will come out very soon. All right, that's enough for big data part, and let me quickly talk about the bio section. So we have a lot of cells, right? We are living organisms, and we have a lot of cells, and each of them has two key components in order to sustain our life. For example, information, like biomedical information, which is inherited from one generation to another. Also, a cell also has a factory, for example, car factory, right? So we have a very powerful mechanism inside us. And my focus is this biological information, and creator of our cells used a very clever idea. For example, he or she chose this material in order to store the biological information. So as a computer engineer, okay, DNA, which is the building block of our body, which has only 4 characters, and in a sense, it's a digital information. And that's why we can use computers to analyze DNAs. So according to this slide, there has been an evolution of sciences. Empirical science, theoretical science, computational science, followed by data science. So you are living in the era of data science. One example is this, discovery of DNA structure. Even though DNA structure was discovered by 2 scientists, they were not engineers, okay? But what they did is actually, in essence, data mining, okay? They did not do any experiment. Probably just did experiment in terms of, looking at data. So in other words, analysis. So through their analysis, they found this tremendous discovery, okay, and which still is a main theme in biomedicine. I wish I had more time, okay? So the flow of biomedical information is like this, from DNA to RNA to protein. And genes are something you should remember. Genes means meaningful part in DNA. All right, I need to accelerate. Okay? For example, only a few genes are needed in order to shape a face. Okay? So people say this is power of genes. But according to the internet, I found this picture. Left-hand side, grandmother. Right-hand side, granddaughter. But in terms of the skin status, left-hand side is better. So people call this power of buttocks. Okay? All right, so DNA montage, and it is well known that big data plays a key role in biomedicine. Okay, so challenges. The problem is so difficult. Let me just use a analogy. Okay, a lot of information, but let me just skip all these. Yeah, a lot of data and a lot of technology. Yeah, a lot of sequencers and dropping fast and so on. So we are now living in the era of interpretation. So let me show you one quick example why computers and information technology are needed in order to make sense of biomedical data. So I prepared this one. This is a shredder, okay? And inside this box, I prepared this image of this very famous painting, which is what? Mona Lisa, right? So the current status in biomedicine is, so let's assume this image represents the biomedical information. And unfortunately, the current status of technology is like this. I use this shredder, okay? What's going to happen? Obviously, you're going to see a lot of debris, okay? And using computers, people are smart enough to, of course, after this all work, I just have this, right? So out of these debris, what we can do? What we have done is, we could recover Mona Lisa, okay, in perfect fashion. But of course, this is not perfect at all. So sometimes we got this, even though we fed this image. But I found some people who like this version more, okay? It looks more healthy. Anyhow, so that is the summary, quick summary. Given this, we have to reconstruct this image, biomedical information. That's what computer engineers and electrical engineers have done for you, okay? So now we are in the second stage, and there are a lot of things we can do. And we can do many interesting things in terms of academics as well as business, all right?
Professor
So
Yoon, can you come to conclusion?
Yes. I'm sorry.
We're running out of time.
I have too many slides, so. All right, so opportunities. I think this is the main message. Soon, if you go to a clinic, your doctor will provide you with a detailed genetic profile. And based upon that, you will get your treatment. And eventually, you will get live longer, okay? So Angelina effect, you know about this, and yeah, this is one case. The collaboration between SNU, especially the hospital in Bundang, and the company SAP HANA. So we are living better these days, okay? Health IoT, and let me skip all these. I thought I have more time, but so let me just get to the point. So simply put, the future is bright, and this is the summary. We have big data, which can be characterized by 3 V's plus 1 V, okay? And bio big data, we are living in the second phase. We need to make sense of those huge amount of data. And challenges, again, 3 V's. A lot of data, fast analysis, and so on. And a lot of opportunities are out there, and I'm one of them to get something out of those opportunities. Again, once again, congratulations on your reunification, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Yoon. Sorry that we could not give you enough time for your extensive coverage. So I think we are running out of time. The speakers spend more time than they imagined to spend. So please pay attention to the time. Next speaker is Dr. Moonbong Shin. He has been with KeyStep for 11 years. He's the Director of Knowledge and Information Division of KeyStep. And he got his PhD in computer science at Gachon University. Let's welcome Dr. Shin.
Thank you. It is my honor to introduce science and technology decision-making support. Okay, this is the contents. And KeyStep makes the effort to enhance the science and technical policy making, decision making, and R&D management. That's why KeyStep developed a KeyStep knowledge-based system because of these four the region. As you see in this picture, the number of the R&D project and then the R&D budget rapidly increased from 1999 to 2011. So Korean government want to make the very efficient information system to accelerate the efficiency of R&D management. This picture shows the whole cycle of the R&D management. In here, we have the horizontal scanning on science and technology, and there are some policy making process. In here, managing the R&D program. Also in here, budget coordination. So key step should support the whole process of the R&D policy making. Previous the speakers talk about characteristics of big data. K2-base just focus on the creating value of information. So I will show you how to use the R&D data for supporting the science and technology decision making. Also, K2-base based on the SciSIP program. This is the advanced new paradigm of policy innovation system to respond effectively to a changing policy environment. Overseas case, there are many developed countries, they trying to build this kind of system. Korea also started this program since 28. So KISTEP developed some methodology supporting the science and technology policy and process improvement. Also, we built some tools and services for the science evidence-based science policy. This is the object of the K2-base. So actually, the building a distance observing system. For this, we developed our own process to building the system. So we are collecting the science and technical data. When we talk about the big data volume, very big volume, but we are just focused on science and technology data. So especially we are collecting the technology trend and R&D investment trend and fossil and R&D program and the other government policy. Also, we are bought some commercial database, patent database, and other database from the commercial company. And then we are making our own analysis tool and methodology to make the decision of the R&D investment. And then we created some website to share our knowledge with the other policymaker. What's the difference between the normal IT project and this K2-base? Actually, most of the IT project is just focused on building some information system, but K2-base is including developing the methodology. As you know, there are many methodologies about evaluating the program and coordinating the program, so we have to develop our own methodology to support our Korean government. So this is the difference. how to build the system. We have, I told you that the process, each process has each sub the process. So when we built the one module for supporting the process, we are starting from here, and then we can make the one good tools for supporting the process. This is an example. When we performed the foresight, we using a lot of the methodology. In here, real-time DELPI, survey scenario. There are many the methodologies. So we picked the methodology, and then we defined the process. So we also defined some data set, and then we built some software functions, and then they can use that functions when they want to solve the problem. This is the service architecture. So we have the 3 layer. One is the data collection layer and repository and some applications, services. So in here, the data collection and data analysis and data utilization is the 3 layers. This is in this data collection layer, and we collect all the information about the policy planning, trend, and program, project, and outcomes, and patent, and disease. And then this is the tools for each the data. We don't develop the collecting tool. We just select the commercial software which can efficiently collect this kind of the information. We don't focus on making the software. We focus on this area because we are trying to make our own methodology. So we are most of the part is this is very important things. So in here we collect all science and trend, and then we make this service. This service means when collect the news, science and technology news, we automatically generate this one. When we type some keyword and they clusterize the keyword, so if you type the bio, and then we can gather some close word from the bio, and then you can monitoring which the area is emerged from related to the bio keywords. Also, this is a trend. This one is the visualization tool. So we got a lot of the statistical database, and then we got that statistical information, and then we show on in type of the picture. When you press this chart, it automatically drag. You can drag down to here. So this means when you create this one, it is the total. For example, this is the total amount R&D budget. You can want to see the IT area. You can, when you click this IT area, this part, you can see the sub area of the IT area.
2 more minutes.
Okay, I see. So this is the technology. How can we collect the unstructured data? And next one is how can we collect the structured data? Usually we are using the extract and transaction and loading technology, and to build the data mart. Next one is we are using the search engine, because when want to analyze the trend, we have to use the index information, and then user finally can get a clustering and classification and analysis service. In here, this is the some bio trend information. When you type the bio and energy, and then you can see the trend. The trend is very similar. So in 3 years ago, the government invested a lot of budget to bio and energy. So you can see the trend. Also, this is some R&D statistical information, and this is the year, and it's the total R&D budget, and then this is the drill down functions. So you can click, when you click this point, you can get a more detailed information. So main services are this one, the R&D Insight. When you type the one keyword, you can see all information in one screen. This is the dashboard. When you this is the trend. So when you type some keyword, you can see periodically the ranking is changed. You can see the change of the rank, and then this is the R&D budget. The size of circle is meaning is the total amount of the budgets for each year. Also, yeah. Next one in here. Okay. So we are the K2 base using the visualized tool. When you see the picture, you can get some the insight of R&D the budget. Also, next one is you can perform the depth analysis, and this one is you can get some trend of the R&D, and then in here, this is very just 10 seconds. This is very important. So when we are doing some coordination of the R&D budget, we need a lot of the information related to the program and project and outcomes, and then the history of the R&D programs. Also some the other information. So in here, when you type the one program, you can see all the information in here. So when want to make some decision, just type the program name and then select, and then you can get all related the information in here. Visually, it shows a lot of the information. Yep. So you can use reach the ikstep.re.kr. You can see this kind of the information. If you want to see the statistical information about the R&D, then you can just type the website, and then you can see a lot of the statistical information. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to the panel because we don't have much time left. I think so far we have Korean speakers speaking on the topic, so maybe we start with the German colleagues. Thomas, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Geyer from Vector Korea, an IT company, and also the Korean-German Chamber of Commerce. I think very interesting presentations we have seen so far on the topic of big data. The technology is already here. The data is also here. And I really liked the remarks of Professor Park that you made. What about concerns? And I want to raise two questions maybe in that panel discussion. On the one hand, we have that anonymous data that we can use to optimize bus lanes in Seoul, or that we can use to analyze biogenetics. But there is also that personal data. We already heard that we need to be careful. My question is now, how can we prevent that personalized data is collected in one place and only a few huge market players can benefit from it? Is there a regulation that we need to put in place? Because how can there is analysis available that says the more data you collect, exponentially the value of that data is growing. So how can we limit the market power of big players? And the second question, so far humans have been dealing with real existing things. The last 10,000 years we are used to trade things. Now we trade data. Is the human society in the current organization able to deal with internet and big data? What I want to say is, will the development of the internet and that big data community somehow make states obsolete? Because if we have different states with different regulations, how can we prevent that a data misuse is taking place in legal free areas? Just assume a Google server would be on the Cayman Islands or in North Korea. What would be the effect? Nobody would care about that data. So those are my thoughts about that, and maybe we can have a discussion.
Yeah, anybody want to answer Thomas's question? Very challenging. I don't know whether we can finish today. Just joking, yeah. So maybe next, the Rudolf Abner Chung. Your turn.
Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Rudolf Abner Chung. I'm actually German and Korean, and I'm not very academic. I'm more on the entrepreneurial side. I founded a company called Yogio. It's where you can order food online instead of calling. And I'm not the CEO, it's wrong. I'm the CEO of a company called Naldo, which is a quick service company where you can order express deliveries. So we have a couple of hundred drivers, and to go a little bit into big data, I know where these drivers are 24 hours. I can tell where they eat lunch, where they eat dinner. So the point I wanted to make is also to answer a little bit on the question. I think big data is here to stay, yeah? And it's not really a question of is it good or is it bad. And I think the question should really be how are we going to structure this? Yeah? Who's going to be in charge? What kind of laws and regulations do we put in? I think it's mostly centered around privacy issues. I think regulation is necessary. I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't like regulation, but I also think it's, for example, you will not find me on Facebook, yeah, because I know exactly what my colleague entrepreneurs can do with the data. I would not give my birth date or anything into any search and into any user profile. I think it's very critical. So I think regulation is necessary, but in a very reasonable way. I think what we see in Germany is you see the old lobbyists coming in and trying to kill companies like Uber, or regulating, or the head of the biggest German media company complaining about Google. I think it's very unreasonable. I think big data is here. Big data will stay. Big data will help. It will increase more. It will create and increase consumer benefits. But the regulator or the government has to act on it and put in structures that are beneficial for society.
Thank you. I think you partially answered Thomas's question, but I think we'll still keep these questions open until the end of this session. Now, since we covered the German colleagues, maybe I'll go to the end of the list. Dr. Yoon Hwa-seop from Korea Telecom. Actually, You know, there was a mention of Seoul night bus line. Now, you don't find this kind of problem in Germany. You know, you don't see the people moving around in the night. In Korea, we're so passionate drinking. And in the night, you have to deal with these people who move around. So I think maybe he can talk about, because this problem was solved using the call detail records from Korea Telecom. So, Dr. Yoon.
Thank you, Professor Cha. As Thomas pointed out, the privacy is a big issue, and if I drink late night and when I go home, I don't want to expose what time I went home. And those privacy issues are pretty important these days. And I'm from Korea Telecom, and telecom companies carries big data naturally. The customers, they use their phone, and these days smartphones generate lots of various kind of personal information, and those data can be saved into our server, and we can explore many interesting things. But privacy always matters. And currently, what we are doing to avoid privacy issue for personal information is, as we can see from the project of that city night bus schedule change, we try to extract the most common pattern of the customer's behavior. So we cannot pinpoint individual, but we can cluster certain group of people who have similar patterns of their activities. So this kind of thing is also used for smart energy business that we are trying to expand this year. These days, the meters are all changed to smart meter, which generate the data reading, and then it sends the signal to the electronic companies who provides electricity. The utility companies then have this information for billing and to advance their services to satisfy their customers. But also, these data, it's like the meter data is generated every 15 minutes, but for certain machines, it can generate information for every 5 minutes, or even every 1 minute, they can generate what you are using, how you are using your electricity or energy sources. So the problem is, how can we analyze this data without invading any privacy issues? So what we are trying to do is extract the patterns of energy usage for lots of people, for a group of buildings, and then according to that pattern, we develop a more sophisticated forecast model which can give some insight to how to save your energy. And then we deploy that method for individual household or building or business unit which can give as a suggestion for energy saving tips. So that would be the answer for the first question that Thomas raised. And for the second question, internet or big data is changing the society dramatically that we could never have imagined. And what we are doing and generating became ourselves. It's extending, the data become like ourselves these days. So people are more concerned about privacy, and then government, on the other hand, try to get hold of each individual, what they are doing, what they are thinking, what they are going to do. And this is a very serious issue, and some of the people are moving not to give their personal information on the internet or online, as Ludolf pointed out. And even these days, more people are not trying to use some Korean-based company's online messenger because government is monitoring what they say, government is monitoring what you write, to whom you are talking with. So they're trying to quit using the Korean-based messenger program, and then they're moving to using foreign-based messenger programs such as Telegram. So these kinds of activities and mindset are dramatically changing from all people who are using smartphones, and maybe they're not recognized that, you know, we are living in the Internet of Things, but they are trying to realize that something is changing. And then this issue, the second issue that Thomas brought up, is really seriously has to be discussed in the long term. Thank you.
Thank you for the answering the questions and also introducing the real use cases of big data using telco. You know, these days, you know, telco knows where you are and what you're doing. You know, if you match the location of the subscriber with the map and the facilities, or and geographically. Anyway, next we have a last speaker, Dr. Byung-yeol Jang. He's from STEPI and fellow. Maybe you say something about the difficult problems.
예, 과학기술경책연구원의 장병렬입니다. 그 앞쪽에서 좋은 말씀 많이 해주셨는데요. 저는 빅데이터 자체보다는 데이터 자체는 아무 가치가 없다 이렇게 생각을 합니다. 즉 저희가 빅데이터를 정책적 관점에서 논의할 때 빅데이터 자체를 너무 기술적으로 많이 이제 서포팅하거나 그 자체에 초점을 맞추는 것은 본말이 좀 전도된 것이 아닌가라고 생각을 하고요. 그 이유가 데이터 자체는 어떤 가치나 어떤 사회적인 밸류를 창출할 수가 없습니다. 그러나 지금 보통 빅데이터라는 논의 자체는 너무 엔지니어적 관점 또는 기술적 관점에서 접근하다 보니까 그 자체에 매몰되어서 더 중요한 부분을 놓치고 있지 않나 이렇게 생각을 합니다. 저는 빅데이터보다는 빅데이터가 창출할 수 있는 가치가 무엇이고 그것을 어떻게 데이터가 지원해 줄 수 있느냐라는 것에 초점을 맞추는 것이 조금 더 바람직하지 않나라고 생각을 하고요. 예를 들어서 저희가 뭐 빅데이터라고 얘기하지만 그럼 스몰 데이터는 중요하지 않느냐? 그럼 그렇지는 않거든요. 그래서 스몰 데이터든 빅데이터든 이 데이터를 활용해서 어떻게 가치를 창출하는 것이 더 중요할 것이냐라는 것에 좀 초점을 맞출 필요가 있다고 생각을 합니다. 예를 들어서 여러분이 생각하는 것처럼 뭐 모바일 뱅킹이 가장 발전한 나라가 어디라고 혹시 생각을 하십니까? 런던이나 아니면 IT 강국인 우리나라인가요? 모바일 뱅킹이 가장 발전한 나라는 케냐입니다. 케냐가 모바일 뱅킹이 가장 발전한 이유는 케냐는 은행이 없기 때문에 한번 은행을 가려면 시골에서 5시간을 걸어가야 됩니다. 그래서 어떤 뭐 등록금을 내든 아니면 금융 거래를 하는 그 자체가 너무 불편한 거예요. 그래서 그걸 해결하기 위해서 누구나 가지고 있는 1세대 또는 2세대 휴대폰을 이용해서 문자 메시지로 온라인 뱅킹을 수행하고 있습니다. 그럼 여기서 중요한 것이 문자를 보내는 이 데이터, 이게 많이 쌓이면 빅데이터가 되겠죠. 이게 자체가 중요하시냐? 그렇지는 않다는 거죠. 그러니까 이런 사회 문제를 해결할 수 있는, 그리고 가치를 창출하고 산업을 만들 수 있는 형태의 서비스를 창출하기 위해서 하나의 수단으로 빅데이터가 활용되는 것이라고 저는 생각을 합니다. 그럼 이런 새로운 가치를 창출하기 위해서는 기존에 존재하고 있는 데이터를 활용할 수도 있지만 새로운 데이터를 만들거나 게더링하거나 생성해야 될 필요도 있습니다. 그런 관점에서 데이터를 접근하는 것이 더 효과적이라고 생각을 합니다. 그리고 이번에 저희가 빅데이터 관점에서 점점 더 중요해지는 이슈가 이제 의료 건강 관련된 데이터인데요. 우리나라는 5천만 명이 전 국민 의료보험 제도를 시행하고 있습니다. 그럼 5천만 개의 모든 사람에 대해서 병원 레코드 데이터가 다 존재하죠. 그런데 이런 데이터 자체가 존재하지만 그 자체는 아무런 의미가 없습니다. 그럼 이 데이터를 가지고 어떤 새로운 가치와 산업을 창출할 수 있을 것이냐라는 관점에서 살펴보면 이 데이터만 잘 분석을 하면 빅데이터를 여러분 개개인에 맞추어진 예를 들어서 이런 분은 다음에 어떤 암에 걸릴 확률이 높으니까 이런 검사를 미리 받으세요 라고 건강보험공단에서 개별적으로 다 안내를 할 수가 있습니다. 그러니까 이런 새로운 더 큰 산업을 데이터를 가지고 창출할 수 있는 것이죠. 그래서 저는 그런 관점에서 그 데이터가 활용되는 관점에서 좀 더 초점을 맞춰져야 된다고 생각을 하고요. 그리고 오늘이 그 한독 컨퍼런스인 만큼 저희 한독 협력 관점에서 살펴보면 독일 정부는 그 인더스트리 4.0이라는 전략을 추진하고 있습니다. 그 인더스트리 4.0이라고 하는 것은 그 독일이 가지고 있는 제조업의 강점을 극대화하기 위해서 빅데이터와 IT 기술을 활용해서 이 제조업에 대해서 유기적인 연결망을 통해서 최적화를 이루는 것입니다. 그래서 여기서 중요한 것은 우리가 지금은 사람만 데이터를 생성시키지만 미래는 발표자들이 말씀하신 것처럼 IoT, 사물 인터넷을 통해서 기계와 기기가 통신을 하고 예를 들어서 생산하는 로봇이 어떤 이상이 발견됐을 때 수리하는 로봇의 그 통신으로 알려주면 수리 로봇이 생산 로봇 자체를 수리할 수가 있습니다. 그래서 이러한 그 B2B 관점에서의 여러 가지 데이터의 강점을 가지고 있고 독일이 많은 연구를 하고 있는 반면에 우리나라는 삼성이나 LG 같이 소비재에서 많은 그 빅데이터를 생성하고 있죠. 그래서 냉장고에 대해서 소비자가 원하면 그 정보를 서로가 그 어떤 메뉴를 추천한다든지 TV라든지 라는 데이터를 많이 생성하고 있습니다. 그래서 소비재에 강한 그 한국 제조업과 이 B2B 기업 간에 강한 독일 제조업이 서로 협력할 수 있는 분야가 많이 있을 거라고 생각을 하고요. 그렇게 생각하는 이유가 점점 데이터는 많아지는데 이 데이터를 어떻게 활용하고 통신하고 서로 커넥팅을 할 것이냐라는 이슈가 점점 더 중요해지는 와중에 가장 핵심적인 것은 이 서로 간에 통신을 하는 또는 주고받는 데이터의 규격에 대한 표준화입니다. 이 표준화에 대해서는 아직 어떠한 국제적인 협력이 또는 표준이 만들어져 있지 않은 상태이기 때문에 이 정부 정책 측면에서도 표준화에 대한 많은 노력들을 국제적으로 이끌어 가야 된다고 생각을 하고 그런 관점에서 독일과 한국이 협력할 분야가 많이 있다라고 생각을 합니다. 예, 감사합니다.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang. Actually, thank you for mentioning this collaboration issue between Korea and Germany. In fact, I know the professors, who are starting big data centers in Germany. The German federal government gave 30 million euro to TU in Germany. I was actually speaking to Professor Steinhagen and Professor Thomsen. Actually, these two, TU Berlin and Dresden, received 30 million euros from the federal government for starting big data centers. So I'm fortunate to have strong links to the colleagues who are leading this institute. So we are discussing the collaboration. So I think next year we will start the real collaboration. Anyway, I think we are running out of time, but I think we want to take one question from the floor. Any questions or comments? So everything is obvious, so maybe we did a good job. Then
can I
thank
comment
you very
on
much.
the last
You
comment?
want?
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised. I could understand it. I'm surprised that you make the statement that big data is irrelevant or meaningless. I think, in the 1970s, people developed, before everything was built in stone or leather or metal or glass, maybe. And then in the 1970s, plastic came up, and people started working with plastic, and you saw huge industries coming out who just did plastic chairs, plastic tables, plastic kitchenware. Everything was done in plastic. And there were huge concerns, should plastic be used or not? I'm not a history professor, but my point is, big data is the plastic of today. And big data is there, and more people, more entrepreneurs will go and build plastic data models. I think there's so many ideas and opportunities to take data and create a company out of it and improve the life of the consumer. So I think big data as meaningless is a very provocative term. Yeah, I like it, but I think I would more look at it as an opportunity. And I think the society who captures it the best will actually win. If we don't take care of it here in Korea or in Germany, the Americans will just take. They will take it. I think there's no discussion, and we always think, oh, it's bad, it's bad. Fact is, they're winning. They have big companies, and they're succeeding any other competitor. There is no European database company, even SAP, is tiny compared to the Americans. So you see the advantages coming out in this kind of risk-taking attitude. So I think we should be very, very positive and use it in a very positive way.
Yeah, I mean, I still have some minutes left, so I want to actually strengthen the position of Rudolf. And in fact, if we don't do anything, Google will do, Apple will do. So what can you do? We have to do something anyway. So on the other hand, there is a voice from Germany that I heard that in Germany the traffic laws are different. If the German traffic laws are the same as U.S. laws, maybe the automobile industry will not be that strong. And I mean, I got a ticket on the German street because I was trying to make the right turn, unprotected right turn. Then that was not allowed in Germany, because the cars are driving so fast. You only have to make a right turn with the green signal, with the arrow to the right. So and also on the autobahn, you can drive more than 250 kilometers per hour, but the cars are safe. So I think the laws should change to accommodate the more entrepreneurial the thoughts and leaders in this space. That's my private, personal view. Any other comment from the panel? Yeah.
If I may, Chair. I absolutely agree with Mr. Abner Chang's opinion about data itself is enormously important, and we cannot say data itself has no meaning. Because, if we have to tell the difference between data and big data is generated, as we said, with the velocity, volume, and variety. So it seems like garbage at first, but it is definitely not a garbage. We can even say a very bold equation that big data equals customers. So if we think it's meaningless, data itself is just data, then we don't keep the data and we don't save the big data for a long time. Why do we have to save big data? Because it's meaningless, then we just throw it away. Then that becomes the problem, because when we really wanted to analyze the pattern or extract some meaningful insight from big data, if big data was not properly saved and managed, we cannot extract any meaningful information from it. So in other words, when big data, or I should just easily say, when the data itself is created, we have to pay very, very special attention to data itself. It has strong meaning in every aspect, and to have that point of view, the data will be different. If you think data itself is meaningless, then we cannot extract or excavate any meaningful hidden needs from customers or giving insight. But if we think data itself is very important, then at the point of generation of the data, when it is created, we will save in a different method. We can manage the data in a more intelligent way, and then we will create more value from the data itself. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Can
thank
I
you.
add one more thing?
So,
It's actually really interesting.
okay, just 30 seconds.
Okay. No, I really like this because I think big data it's a fluffy word and it's not clear, and even today I think there were different definitions. But I think big data and individual data is so important you cannot miss it and you cannot ignore it, right? Because let me give you one example. So you use a health app from Nike or on these new phones from Samsung and Apple, and you save your heart rhythm. 20 years later, the life insurance company will track that data and say, wait a second, there you said you were totally healthy, but we could say your heart rate went down and you had these health issues. Why did you not tell you this? This will be stored on servers. You don't even know about it. They will find the Facebook server or the Twitter server or whatever else it is. But there's so many things that are so disconnected from us today. And we will have to, we don't even know what to plan, but we have to put it in the structure and we have to take care of it because it becomes too dangerous. I think that's my key point. Yeah.
Now I think we had a very, at the beginning we were a little bit slow, but now at the end we were very intense in discussing the topics.
I can go on.
Yeah. We can go offline, of course. So, well, thank you very much for the speakers and the panelists for joining today's session, and also the audience, for staying through the end of this program. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Sang-Kyun Cha, for being the chair of that really interesting session number 4 about digital society and big data. Now there will be a change in the setting. Just some minutes, please. Stay, remain here, remain seated, because we continue with the closing session where we wrap up all the results of the other sessions we have heard today. So please stay for just a couple of minutes, and I will hand over to Juan Kim as your new moderator. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the closing session, the final of the whole long day. Thank you that you are still here with us today. In the closing session, we will wrap up all the results we have found during the single sessions. And the chair of this session is a good friend. It's a representative of Fraunhofer to Korea. It's Juwan Kim. I want to hand over to you now. Yeah. Thank you very much for being the chair of the closing session.
Thank you very much. Once again, my name is Juan Kim. I'm very pleased to accompany the very last program of today. And in the afternoon, we had 4 different sessions from session 2 up to session 5 in parallel. So you could not attend all of them. So let's take another 20 and 25 minutes. I won't take too much time, I promise you, to have the chairpersons of each session present what was discussed in each session. Let me start with introducing each chairperson. Right on the left side, Dr. Jong-Guk Song, President of Science and Technology Policy Institute, STEPI. Representing session 3, Mr. Michael Grund, Managing Director of MEAC, Korea. Session 4 was represented by Professor Sang-Kyun Cha, Founding Director of SNU Big Data. From session 5, we have Dr. Dong-Hwa Kim, Vice Chairman of the National Academy of Engineering of Korea. Thank you all that you are here for the closing session. So since we don't have too much time, let's jump into the session number 2.
Thank you. I think
I don't have enough time. I think 5 minutes is allowed for me. So from now on, I would like to speak in Korean for the wrap-up session 2. 우리 세션 2는 정말 아주 굉장히 핫한 세션이었습니다. 팀 자체가 우리 지금 현 한국 정부의 창조 경제 구현을 위한 정부의 정책 어젠다하고 아주 밀접하게 연계가 돼 있고, 또 독일에서도 이런 스타트업과 관련된 부분에 있어서 상당한 관심과 또 노력을 하고 있다라는 것을 이제 알 수 있었습니다. 그래서 우리 팀이 From the Lab to the Workbench, Spin-offs and Startups 했는데, 이거는 이제 교육과 연구라는 전통적인 대학의 역할에서 사업화와 창업을 통한 사회적 기여라는 새로운 대학의 역할에 대해서 한국과 독일의 사례, 그리고 또 직접 이 창업을 대학에서 하신 분의 생생한 경험담, 그리고 여러 전문가들의 디스커션이 있었습니다. 우선 첫 번째 발제자로 모신 분이 크리스찬 톰센, 그 테크니컬 유니버시티 오브 베를린의 프레지던트로 계시는 톰센 교수님의 발표가 있었는데요. 베를린 기술대학의 창업 지원 사례 보니까 굉장히 아주 잘 짜여져 있고요. 또 센터 포 앙트프루너십이라는 것을 만들어 가지고 사업화와 비즈니스 창출에 굉장히 포커싱을 한 그런 시스템을 소개를 해 주셨습니다. 그리고 우리 한국 쪽에서는 연세대학교에 지금 산업협력 단장을 맡고 연구처장을 맡고 계시기도 하고, 기술지주회사라고 한국에 있어요. 그 연대 기술지주회사의 대표까지 맡고 계시는 김은경 교수가 발표를 해 주셨는데, Scientific Excellence and Commercialization 해가지고 연구 중심 대학의 사회적 역할이 강화되고 있고, 그 Scientific Research를 어떻게 Commercialization을 하느냐를 연대 전체 차원에서 상당히 시스템을 갖춰서 노력하고 있다라는 것을 보여주셨습니다. 그래서 이 두 발표를 제가 사회자 체어 입장에서 이렇게 좀 비교를 해보니까, 독일은 상당히 이쪽 인큐베이팅하고 또 스타트업에 어떻게 펀딩을 하느냐라는 이 부분에 많은 제도적인 지원이나 이런 것들이 포커스가 돼 있는데, 한국은 아직 앞단에 비즈니스 모델을 어떻게 만들고 이걸 어떻게 그 리서치 아웃풋과 리절트와 연결을 시키고 하는 이 앞단 부분에 아직도 조금 더 많은 포커스가 돼 있는 그런 아마 현황이 있지 않느냐. 그래서 한국은 좀 더 이렇게 스핀오프하고 이걸 어떻게 스타트업에 연결시켜서 펀딩하느냐. 뭐 연대는 아주 펀딩도 잘 갖춰져 있기는 합니다만은 이 독일 테크니컬 유니버시티 오브 베를린에 비해서는 좀 그런 점에서 좀 차이가 있었고요. 그 다음에 개인적으로 가운데학교의 남학현 교수가 아이센스라는 기업을 창업한 사례를 얘기를 하셨는데요. 굉장히 그 비즈니스 모델을 잘 세팅을 해가지고 세계에서 가장 성능이 좋은 혈당 측정기를 만들자 해가지고 그런 비즈니스 모델을 셋업해서 어떻게 이걸 기술적으로 해결하고 또 스핀오프를 해가지고 어떻게 비즈니스를 잘 해나가느냐를 교수님답지 않게, 아까 굉장한 칭찬도 듣고 하셨는데 교수님답지 않게 아주 성공적으로 해주셔서 매출이 점점 늘어나는 그런 기업을 운영하고 계시더라고요. 그래서 교수님이 하신 말 중에 하나 인상에 깊은 남는 거는 뭐냐 하면은 결국은 돈과 기술과 이런 것보다도 기업을 창업해서 비즈니스 모델을 이끌어 나가는 기업가의 정신, 기업가가 어떤 자세로 이 비즈니스를 러닝하느냐라는 부분이 굉장히 중요하다는 얘기를 해주셨어요. 그래서 아주 인상이 깊었고요. 패널 디스커션이 있었는데 문규학 소프트뱅크 코리아 대표하고 그다음에 우리 스테피에 있는 김형주 박사 두 분이 토론해 주셨는데, 문규학 대표는 소프트뱅크에서 많은 투자를 하면서 성공할 기업, 성공하지 않을 기업들 이런 부분에 대한 이 포인트, 뭘 봐야 우리가 알 수 있느냐, 또 성공하기 위해서는 어떻게 해야 되느냐라는 조건들을 얘기해 주셨고요. 그 중에 인상에 남는 거는 대학교 교수님 네 분이 대학교 교수님이 창업한 4가지 사례 중에서 자기네들이 투자를 네 군데를 했는데 2군데가 성공하고 2군데가 실패했대요. 그래서 그걸 딱 자기가 분석을 해봤더니 키가 뭐냐, 2분의 교수님은 학교로 돌아가셨고 2분의 교수님은 배수진을 치고 정말 이 비즈니스를 성공시키기 위해서 열심히 하셨다는 겁니다. 거기서 이제 차이를 얻었다 그러고요. 우리 김영주 박사는 기본적으로 돈과 그다음에 인프라와 어떤 시설이나 이런 정부의 지원도 중요하지만은 결국은 비즈니스든 또 기술 개발이든 연구든 사람이 하는 건데, 연구를 하고 기술을 개발하고 그걸 스핀오프해서 사업을 하는 데 있어서 가장 중요한 것은 아까 우리 문규학 소프트뱅크 코리아 대표가 말씀하신 것처럼 기업가 정신이다. 젊은 청년 창업가들이 내가 왜 비즈니스를 하려고 하느냐, 우리 아마 박희재 단장님도 유사한 얘기를 하셨는데 내가 무엇을 하려고 하느냐라는 게 굉장히 중요하다. 이거는 아마 남학영 교수님, 성공하신 아이센스의 남학영 교수님도 또 똑같은 얘기를 하셨고요. 그래서 저는 이제 일단 우리 세션에서는 그러니까 많은 제도들이 한국에서는 실패를 용인하고 그다음에 어떤 기회를 주는 그런 어떤 기업가 정신이 한국에서 조금 더 부밍업 할 수 있도록 정부의 많은 것들이 시스템이 갖춰져야 되고, 또 한국과 독일의 그 대학의 그 스타트업 스핀오프 하는 여러 가지 경험들을 서로 익스체인지하고 서로 협력을 할 수 있는 그런 어떤 프로그램을 하나 좀 만들어 보자라는 제안을 제가 우리 아데코의 우리 김 회장님 아마 하실 수 있으리라고 봅니다. 네, 이상입니다. 감사합니다. 네.
Thank you very much, Dr. Song. Let's go to the session 3, Networks for the Future.
As you just mentioned, session 3 was about networks of the future. We had presentations from the University of Dresden, from Kim Ki-kam from Pangyo Technical Valley, from Professor Martin from University of Aachen, and Kim Tae-il as a vice governor from Gyeonggi province. And basically, we explored the different ways of the collaboration between universities and governmental founded institutions, and also between small and medium enterprises, startups, and middle and bigger size enterprises. That the challenges for the interaction of these are various. It starts that the different academic institutions not necessarily work to each other by its own. And the other point is also the transformation from R&D results produced into these kind of networks need later to be transformed into business. So how to transform the R&D results, the IP, into businesses, how to enhance startups, how to balance small and medium enterprises, startups, spin-offs, and how to link them into a global economy. So there were different approaches, starting from an umbrella approach overall, or just the one-to-one link, making a kind of infrastructure environment and let it grow like Pangyo Valley, or setting a frame set where the skill sets which are delivered in this setup not only limited to technical or natural science skill set, but also deliver some entrepreneurial skill sets to enable the students or the professors not only to have scientific excellence, but also get some basics in business to transform then in business excellence later. But the takeaway of all this session is there is no one solution, there is not one template. So during the panel discussion, we learned, depending on the setup or the situation, one or the other way of collaboration will work or will not work. So it's not that way, or it seems not that way, that you can deliver all these one template you can apply on every place. You have to take into consideration the setting where you want to do this, also the academic and industrial environment, and based on that you can start a kind of network or design a network which covers from early R&D, scientific research, up to applied science into business transformation, all aspects. Basically, this was the main takeaway of the very exciting session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grunt. Now, Professor Cha will brief about the session number 4, Digital Society and Big Data. Please.
Yeah, thank you. We had 3 speakers and then 4 additional panelists. And then actually this morning I sat down and they created a few slides. So I consumed around 10 minutes. So the issues, the Professor Park Ju-yeon from Korean Foreign Studies universities, she gave an excellent overview of the big data issues and also use cases. And maybe the German colleagues would not know that we used Korean telco, Korean data to adjust nightline bus. In Seoul is a very dynamic city. You can find many people moving around even at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock after drinking heavily. No, I'm just joking. So the city, Seoul City, used Korea Telecom's call detail record. They used the aggregated data to change the route of the bus line, in the nighttime. So that was a very effective, very successful transdisciplinary, across the organization use case of big data. And then there was some concern about privacy issues, how we protect the release or collection or release of personal information, to avoid big brother, country. There's no answer at this point. But if we don't invest in the big data, Google will do and Apple will do, and we'll be left behind. So we have to do investment anyway. And right now the regulation is too tight, and actually we don't know, what kind of laws we need, because we are moving into the uncharted area. So I think this is something that we have to keep in mind in the future as we move to the leveraging the big data within the society. And the last point, there was a question about the collaboration between Germany and Korea on big data issues. Fortunately, I happen to know that I was in Dresden when the President Park visited in Dresden in March, and I have colleagues from Dresden and also Berlin, TU Berlin and TU Dresden, and they are heavily involved in big data issues. And these 2 technical universities are the ones who got 30 million euros for starting a big data center. It's a federal big data competence center, I think they call. So I think I also spoke to the Professor Steinhagen and also Professor Thompson, and we will move to more, the concrete steps to materialize the collaboration at the national level. So this is the end of my summary. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Cha. Now we are coming to the last session number 5. Engineers for the Future will be represented by Dr. Kwon.
Well, thank you. Before summarizing what will happen in the next door, I should appreciate my role being invited in that session because of many reasons. First, the conference chairperson, Professor Dr. Park, was there in the floor for discussion. Yes, in our in our session, as announced in the program, we have very nice 3 presentations, somewhat different, but all related to the engineering education for the future. One from the President Gruske, President of FAU, Friedrich Alexander University, right? He described about their new activity in Busan area, meaning the overseas campus, is the correct word? Pioneering branch campus in Busan with the Busan University. And even though it started in 2011, he has reported sort of the very nice progress and a lot more expectation for the future. And another presentation from Professor Lee. He has been heading the special committee for innovation of engineering schools in Korea, starting this government last year. And I think the session was very lively because he has been provoked the panelists and some people in the floors by describing sort of real the picture of the engineering school, especially the evaluation system of the faculty members. And another one was one of the best example in terms of networking or collaborations with the industries by Professor Kim from Erika campus at Hanang University, which is well known among Koreans. However, the 2 panelists who joined for the discussion also led a rather lively discussion by showing somewhat different opinion or different viewpoint, and among them, Dr. Jung from Ulsan National Institute of Science Technology, which is science and technology, which is a new university, and also they are showing new model after KAIST and POSTECH, and he has been arguing that already the proposals has been made by Professor Lee and the committee is happening, even though it's slowly in Korea. So that was very nice. And it's sort of clear during the discussion or among the presentation that the engineering education or training is the most important issue to be worried. That's, I think, one comment which really represent what has been addressed is that Dr. Lee Hee-guk, he's a CEO or CTO of LG Group, he mentioned that one of the most important for him, or sort of the time he spent, is that how to keep good or excellent engineers in-house for the future of LG, so that that really indicates that the engineers is important for the future of even big companies. And with this much, I will, with the excuse from Professor Gruske that he showed one slide where Dean Marion Merklein mentioned that wherever there is a change or any development, you will find engineers. So that's what he mentioned, who is heading the technical college or division in Friedrich Alexander University. So what it is, even though our time is sort of limited, it has been fully addressed, the importance and the issues that we should worry about mostly in Korea, especially about the education. In there, one of the consistent issue was the evaluation system of engineering faculty members in Korea, meaning it's sort of too much oriented in counting number of papers, especially the SCI papers. In that issue, Professor Gruske made a good comment. It's not this or that, it's this and that, meaning that the publishing good papers is important. At the same time, it's important to connect with industries, meaning industrial collaboration for training or educating engineers for the future. This is like I say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gum. With that, we would like to complete now the closing session. Thank you all for gentlemen. And we also will come to the end of this year's conference. The joint Korean-German conference was held for the topic of future and technology and was organized by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy, especially by the Office for Strategic R&D Planning, the German Embassy in Korea, Alumni Network Germany and Korea, ADECO, STEPI, and KISTEP. And as non-organizer for the conference, I would like to propose to come to the end of the conference by giving them applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.